Well, that was a fun scrimmage. The Golden State Warriors, it certainly felt like a scrimmage. The Memphis Grizzlies, if they want to make a claim for being the worst team in the NBA, congrats. I'm all ears. I personally, if I have the power, will anoint you with the official label of worst team in the NBA. Memphis is awful. And the Golden State Warriors, despite being shorthanded, there were some interesting things to take away from this one, starting with Malifi Leons getting minutes. It was nice to see some fresh blood out there. Will Richard dropping some bombs. The whole team was dropping bombs. I think 8 of the 9 players who played reached double figures in scoring. Malifi came just 1 point short, still grabbed 8 rebounds. We're going to talk about tonight's game. 133-112. We're going to dip into the mailbag because some folks have written to me fantastic content that we're going to address in moments. Evan Ball is going to join me as a guest tonight. Evan is a TV and film writer of the Taylor Sheridan universe. You might have seen him once before on this show. He came on with the Professor Armando Laura, and we had a fun time. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind having some company with me tonight. So he's going to join the show in moments as the Golden State Warriors celebrate Brandon Podziemski's birthday with a dub. Incredible that Podziemski is still the youngest player on the Golden State Warriors. Pretty wild. So let's get into it. Evan will join the show in just a second. We're powered by FanDuel, and the program is called The Golden Days. Hey, now. Hey, no. We know. Welcome to the show. My name is Cyrus Saatsaz, your host for the evening. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild, over on Twitter at Surf Journalist, the program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod, as we join you live from the Golden Days studios in beautiful West Sonoma County, California. Immediately following the Warriors, again victorious over the Memphis Grizzlies, a final score 133-112. This was over the moment it started. The Warriors were in control of this one throughout, and we're going to talk about it. Oh, look, Mom's in the house. Is that my mom? Hi, Mom. Love you. I do have an amazing mom. She's a proud rep of single mothers out there supporting families almost by herself. Incredible. But we're not here to talk about my mom. We're here to talk about the Golden State Warriors, who, again, were victorious in this game tonight. That really was my mom, by the way. I'm almost positive of that. And I see Evan in the green room. He's going to join us in just a second. I'll just bring him on right now. Are you, Evan? Can you give me a wave if you're ready to go, or should I give you a second? He's waving. All right, let's bring him on. Evan Ball, again, a prolific Hollywood writer in film, TV, part of the Taylor Sheridan universe. That is brag, my friend. I'll do that bragging for you. And thanks for joining me tonight. As we come to you live immediately following, again, the Warriors being 133-112 winners in a game that felt a lot more like a scrimmage than it did an actual NBA game. If you're a fan of the Memphis Grizzlies, my condolences. I mean, you just had a back-to-back set at home. I mean, there was a day separating them, but you lose to the Sacramento Kings on Monday. They came into your house with a 16-game losing streak, and then you follow that up with whatever this was. Again, if you're a Grizzlies fan, my heart goes out to you. If you're a Warriors fan, and these kinds of wins, these it felt like a moral victory, although it was technically a real victory. It counts in the record books. The Warriors improved to 31-28. Evan, how are you doing? And what was your reaction to?
I'm doing very well.
Hey.
What was my reaction?
Yeah,
when I was in high school, I played basketball, and there was one game where, for whatever reason, the JV team, the away JV team, had like an issue with their transportation, but they were coming from far away. So what we decided was we were going to let varsity play first, and then let JV play second, because varsity was already there. And so this felt like the JV game playing second. where like everybody was there and it felt like the stakes were higher than they were, but the basketball was, like two teams kind of still trying to work it out. I will say I was really happy to feel like there was more of a strength in numbers feel tonight. Everybody showed up. It was nice to see Guy have a great game. GP2 had a great game. Will Richard looked fantastic and honestly should have had even more minutes. Yeah, it was for you hit it on the head. It felt like a scrimmage, but it was, at least it was a fun scrimmage.
Yeah, it was, exactly. At least they came away victorious in this one. Like when I saw the starting lineups and I had to do a double take, so I was like, wait, Pods versus Ty Jerome? Like what kind of nightmare did I just fall asleep to or wake up to? However you properly express that. It was crazy. And it was a friendly reminder why Ty Jerome has never been a favorite of mine. I mean, that dude just, he's whatever. But Potts held his own on his birthday. I feel like if there's anything to take away from this, it's that just my opinion. Brandon Podziemski is a better player than Ty Jerome. Your thoughts?
I think Brandon Podziemski, when given a lot of minutes, has proven that he doesn't have to be totally useless. He, again, led the team in minutes. He was probably lowest on the team in scoring efficiency. What's up, everybody? I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. I see it. And, he never gets penalized for it. So on the one hand, I want to see more of that with the young guys. I want to see them be able to do that. I think it's weird when you watch like a hot Richard get pulled out of the game, but you could have, again, Pods kind of got it together later in the game more than early in the game. And he was able to play through that and again, lead in minutes. I don't begrudge Brandon Podziemski tonight on his birthday. I still laugh because the number one play I see from him is head down, dribble hard, right into the defense, doesn't get any separation, doesn't get anything, picks up his dribble immediately, and then has to find some panic pass out. Like at this point, I just start counting them in the game. I'm just like, okay, 1, 2. It feels like it's every third possession with him. But for a guy who's supposed to be, a high motor, high IQ guy, he had an okay game. And I'm saying that obviously quite facetiously.
Well, I don't think yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, I think he had a fine game, and I'm happy for him for his birthday. Definitely.
Yeah, happy birthday, Pods. He turns 23 today. People in the chat were asking, by the way, are you in a hospital? Friendly reminder, you have that background because of the turnstile.
Yeah, that's Brandon Podziemski defense.
Yeah, exactly. Although I feel like Ty Jerome's turnstile is even larger and more easy to turn. But but look, what I wanted to say is, this is just my opinion, obviously, as is a lot of what we say on this show. It's just, we're trying to give analysis, but most of the analysis is just what we think, right? I mean, unless we're giving you stats, it's not objective truth. With all that said, I mean, look, there's no denying that there's been a healthy amount of Brandon Podziemski criticism on this show. And I want to make this very clear. That criticism is based largely on the disproportionate amount of minutes he gets compared to his teammates, the disproportionate treatment he gets versus nearly everyone else on the team. But I want to also emphasize it's not his fault, right? Like I don't think he's wielding real power on this team. I mean, he's just taking advantage of a coach who likes him more than everyone else. And honestly, if Podziemski had the option of going, coach, don't play me as much. There's other players on this team who also need minutes. I mean, if that was in the realm of reality for a player to do that, okay, maybe he deserves some criticism, but that doesn't normally happen, right? I mean, if a player is given an opportunity, they're going to take every second of it that's handed to him by a coach in basketball, particularly. And, so the blame from my perspective lays squarely on the lap of Steve Kerr. To me, this is a Steve Kerr issue. It's not a Podziemski issue. Podziemski's just out there playing basketball. Now, at the same time, he's getting the most minutes out there routinely on average, right? I mean, with Steph and Jimmy out, literally, objectively speaking, he leads the team in minutes per game when Steph, if you discount Steph and Jimmy Butler. So because he gets all these minutes, he's going to be scrutinized more because He's the guy shouldering the largest responsibility for a team that is an 8 seed, 3 games above 500, borderline directionless, and it's an ugly situation potentially. But I just want to reiterate again, this is just me saying, while Brandon Podziemski, in my opinion, if he was on any other basketball team, I don't know if he gets a run, or maybe on an awful team like the Grizzlies, he might get the Ty Jerome treatment where it's like, all right, well, we'll play you now. But ultimately this is a Steve Kerr thing. What are your thoughts on that, Evan?
No, I agree. I mean, I think, look, on the one hand, I think Pods is pretty delusional, calling himself the white Shohei and talking about he's going to take the keys from Steph Curry and all that. So like, I'm not gonna say that there's zero blame there for this guy. And I think you see that in his gameplay. You see that in some of the shot selection. I think you see that in the fact that he doesn't learn his lesson with, the drives and the big men and stuff like that. Like, I don't see his game improving much. I just see him getting more chances to do the thing.
Yes.
So yeah, like when you lead the team in shots and you hit, like 38% of them, yeah, you have a chance to lead the team in points or be near the top of the team, versus other players who shoot way fewer shots but match your points, because they hit at a higher rate or something like that. Like, that's for sure. But to your point, yeah, I mean, this game was, as usual, full of 3 and 4 guard lineups. And when you have Brandon Podziemski essentially playing small forward because he's next to Pat Spencer and GP2 or whatever, and not that they actually run the motion offense when Steph Curry's out of the game, but like they do play pretty much positionless interchangeably, except for like the one big that might be on the floor. Like, yeah, he's constantly mismatched. He's constantly out of position. And so, that's, as much as I want to highlight that Pause is not without some blame in his behavior, he gets screwed by Kerr like everybody else does. He shouldn't have to be out there and carry heavy minutes against bigger players and pretend that that's like what his game's going to be.
Right. I agree with you there. And going back for a second, you mentioned the typical Podziemski possession of dribble a whole lot, head down, and then it usually goes nowhere. And then all of a sudden the shot clock's like halfway done, and then the team's suddenly playing frenetically, trying to catch up. Last night it boiled over, and we talked about it a little bit on the show, but we didn't have the all the facts. That's one of the downsides to us going live right after games, because sometimes like the information starts to come out hours after the game ends, and you don't usually get it. We don't usually get a chance to piece together all the information until the show's over. So we have to then tackle it the day after it happens. But what I'm referring to specifically is Brandon Podziemski last night was literally like in a hostile manner approached by Quentin Post, because Post had this mismatch and he was in the paint, like just looking for the ball. But Podziemski, and another thing he's doing, by the way, and tonight's maybe a bad night to just, focus so much on Pods, because the team did win and he had a good game and it's his birthday. But one thing he's doing, and I saw this in the Pelicans game last night, which I'm not a big fan of, is he's already doing that head whiplash shit that a lot of foul grifters do, right? Where they're trying to like basically trick the officials into calling a foul. And I don't care if the person doing it is on my team or what team you're on. It's so unethical and cheap and gimmicky, and it's you're veering down soccer territory doing this shit. I don't like it, but that's besides the point. It has some relevance here, because that same possession, Pods, again, he's got a bigger defender on him. He can't drive by him because Pods can't drive by most people. So he does the head whiplash thing, trying to get a call. The call doesn't come. Meanwhile, while he's doing all this shit, Quentin Post is camped in the paint with a gross mismatch. He's got some little dude on him. He's calling for the ball. It would have been the easiest 2 points ever. Pods doesn't find him. Kerr calls a timeout right after that possession. And you see as they're walking to the bench, and I posted the video of this on Threads and all my socials out there. There's Quentin Post livid. Like, how did you not see me? How did you not find me down there? I'm like,
someone like 10 inches shorter than him on him.
Yeah, because he had this little dude on him. And of all the people to play Peacemaker, a guy who, side note, and again, for the folks out there who think Draymond Green should not be playing, and that's a discussion we could have tonight as well. in my it was interesting, borderline ironic that Draymond Green of all people was playing peacemaker there, and then like a lot of people have been doing lately. Then they kind of like focus Podziemski on them, and then gives them a lecture about what they're doing right or wrong. We've seen this now twice with Draymond Green in the last like week and a half. We saw it with Al Horford during live action recently. I think that is legitimate criticism about Podziemski's game. For a guy who's a point guard, he's oftentimes lacking awareness situationally, and I don't know if it's a peripheral thing. I don't know if it's just
it's the broccoli top, man. It's just it's like he's got horse blinders on.
Maybe, I don't know, but I'm guessing you noticed that possession as well. And what did you think about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think this is long been a critique of pods that I've had. I find it always so interesting, and not to always do the Pods Kaminga conversation, but it's pertinent because a lot of the things that people complain about Kaminga are things that Pods actively does. He does hold up the ball. He does make bonehead plays. He does find himself lacking where. And look, some of his lack of awareness is just because he's short and everybody's so much bigger than him. Like I'm not going to pretend that's not a piece of the game, but that's why if you're a little guy, you gotta find ways to create space and separation from the person in front of you. You have people like Steve Nash who were able to have all the vision and all of the awareness in the world, but they knew how to create separation. Steve Nash was super smart, right? He knew how to, whether it was prepping people for the screen or it was with his hesitations or whatever. And he wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't anything like that, but he was smart and he knew how to keep people off balance. So he had that separation so he could see the floor. And I think Pods wants to play a heavy scorer type of game, but he doesn't yet have the tools, and he doesn't seem to be working on the tools to give him the space and the awareness to be able to implement that game. Like his drive and kick game is weak. It's like by the time he kicks the ball out, because he's picked up his dribble and he's been on his pivot foot, bouncing left and right 3 times, and he's looking around. The defense is settled. He's not passing to somebody who's got like a clean cut and is now open because he created action. So yeah, I think that to me, that's kind of the main issue with Pods. I think he's got a lot of growth to do that I think is not balanced out by the minutes he has.
Yeah,
and the leash he has, especially versus tonight. I know you were really high on Will Richard back in the past too. Like I think his upside is really nice. He's really fun. He's more dynamic. I think he's ultimately going to be a much better shooter than Pods, and he's already a smarter decision maker when he attacks the rim. So like these are things that I want to see. See more. Get more love from Steve Kerr, more juice. Like give him the ball, feed that thing.
Yeah, 100%. 100% with you on that. And speaking of Will Richard, is he our FanDuel player of the game? Because, and I don't mind getting the audience involved in this if they want to. It's happily presenting the democratic process when apropos. And Evan, obviously, you have a vote in this. Here are the candidates for player of the game. Option 1, Brandon Podziemski, the birthday boy. 19 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 3 of 8 from deep. It's good enough. It passes. All around good game. Now we did have 3 turnovers, tied for the team lead. That's not something that's you're going to write home about. It's not something that, especially against a team like Memphis, is something that you're going to be. It's not a good look. But with that said, 19 points, 8 boards, 6 assists for Brandon Podziemski. Another candidate, Will Richard, 21 points, led the Warriors in scoring tonight, 2 of 6 shooting from deep, 5 boards, 6 assists. Defensively, grabbed 3 steals as well. And again, that wingspan causes havoc out there when he's playing against other folks. Option 3, GP2. I can't believe I'm saying that. Like I don't know how he ended up
tonight. He was hitting his shots.
Yeah,
he was actually like had a presence at the rim, but it was a team that they all benefited from everybody else doing well, everybody hitting their shots, everybody being a threat, and that was what was really good. It was nice to see everybody light up. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, you're good. And just to add, just his stat line, he was 8 of 12 from the field, 3 of 7 from deep. GP2 again. I'm calling him the best cutter in the NBA. He's fantastic at that. I mean, it's unbelievable how many Warriors games we've watched this season where GP2 is just wide open under the bucket. I don't know why opposing teams lose him. My guess is, again, he leads the NBA in a new, completely new stat that the league is presenting as an official stat that they're monitoring, and they're collecting the data and they present it to the public. And it's gravity. And Stephen Curry, of course, easily by a mile leads the NBA in that category. But who's worst in it in the entire NBA is GP2. He has no gravity, meaning people just don't pay attention to him offensively or defensively. I'm sorry. But the benefit is when he's cutting and moving around like that, oftentimes like his teammates will find him right under the basket. And tonight, again, 8 of 12 from the field, the 3 of 7 shooting from deep. Not typical for him. That's way higher.
That's way above his,
than normal. So 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals also for him. And sorry, I got like hair on my face. And so those are your 3 candidates, unless I'm missing somebody. Who are you voting for, Evan?
I'm going Will Richard. That would be my suggestion.
All right. Well, that's your vote. Let me go back to the chat real quick, see what other people are saying. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Evan. Not a lot of votes. Julian Bashir voting for Will Richard. Terry Farrow saying Will. G4M saying, is Will Richard really a rookie? Yeah, he is a rookie. 4-year player from the defending national champion Florida Gators.
See, all the Richards are coming in now.
Yeah. They are coming in now? Okay, so we got a lot of Will. All right, so Will Richard is your FanDuel player of the game tonight. And again, he was just – I love his shooting stroke.
Yeah,
I think the form is magnificent. I've always been a fan of the dudes who have 2 hands on the ball for the release, but then the very last second, you see just one hand kind of take over with the flick. And that's Will Richard's shooting style. I love this kid, man. He is – if there's a silver lining to this season, if there's a bright side in terms of what you're looking forward to, he's at the top of the list, man. So Will Richard, congratulations, our FanDuel player of the game, 21 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. I want to talk for a second, if you don't mind, and then we got a mailbag, Evan, that I want to get to. A few good ones that have come in that I want to address. Some of these I don't even read until literally I go to them. I like surprising myself as well. But Malifi Leons, this is a guy that the Warriors picked up a couple months back. Was a G League player predominantly for the OKC Thunder, was playing great for them. Warriors pick him up. He's 6'10". At least that's what I heard on the broadcast tonight. Let me see, like ESPN, if there's anything they're doing right these days. And I know NBA.com also does this too, but they list the proper official combine heights. I don't know if combine's the right word, but it's the official height of the players. Without shoes on, like literally feet flat on the earth. So he's technically 6'9", 203. He's a long dude. I'm borderline shocked we have not seen more of him. Well, I take that back. I'm not shocked at all because Steve Kerr's the head coach. I'm maybe disappointed is the more proper choice of word. I really wish this guy would be playing more, just because we can analyze together who he is as a basketball player. And look, man, for a first impression, he plays 17 minutes, 52 seconds, 3 of 5 from the field. He hits his 1 3-point attempt. Maybe most impressively in those 17 minutes, 52 seconds, ties for the team lead in rebounding, grabs 8 boards, adds 2 assists, adds 2 steals, adds 1 block, only has 1 turnover, 9 points. He missed 2 free throws at the very end of the game because Bob Fitzgerald jinxed him. I'm kidding about that, but Fitz did bring it up way too much at the very end there. And so Malifi finishes with 9 points on the night. But look, play this guy more. I like this is, and again, it's a broken record in terms of talking about young Warriors players and wanted to see more from them. I want to see more Malifi. So far, so damn good. Evan, what'd you see?
Yeah, no, I like. I mean, look, I think I know there's this temptation to try to make this big push at the end of the season to, quote unquote, try to play meaningful basketball again or whatever. I think if the Warriors are serious about winning in the near future, not even like the midterm future, in the near future, like next season, they need to know what everybody else on the roster has and is able to do. So I think you should be playing Leons. I think you should be playing Post a ton. I think you should be playing Melton, right? You want to get all that in. You want to get a lot of Richard minutes. You want to get Pat Spencer minutes. You want to get all these people. Gee, right? And Gee with the starters as much as possible. You want to see what you have from these guys. So I know there's a big there's a big stigma around tanking. I'm not necessarily saying to directly tank, but I am saying, look, at some point in the season, you got to look toward next year. You got to know this year we're not playing for chips. What matters for this franchise while Steph Curry's here is trying to win championships. So we need to see where we're at. We need to see what talent we have. Not just for, are we going to use them next season, but like, are we going to package people? How can we get people's values up so we can package them in trades in the off season, or do we need to move off of them and pick up other people in free agency? So yeah, I mean, and yeah, I would very happily like to see taller people on the floor. Yeah. I think there's the gravity conversation is really important, because I think there's like a double-edged sword in how Steve Kerr runs his teams, with a lot of non-shooters and a lot of small guys out there. And it's this kind of like accidental anti-gravity play where other teams know they only have to take one or two people seriously at any given time. So that does, when you are moving the ball, or when you do have, GP2 is good at his cuts, right? His back cuts when people aren't paying attention. It does lead to opportunities for points, but only in the regular season. This doesn't translate to the playoffs, where you need to be able to have like better talent on the floor. You need to be able to out scheme other teams, and you need to have efficient offense that forces openings, not offense that has accidental openings because people don't take you seriously enough. So yeah, that's kind of my off the backboard thoughts on all of it. This was the point I want to get to. This is what I want to get to.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about there are a lot of downsides that come with these unspoken stats, right? And one of the ones we talk about with Podziemski a lot is how his offensive rebound attempts lead to fast breaks or transition points on the other end. And I saw that a ton this game. And it was one of those things that, like, you don't want to talk bad at homeboy on his birthday, and he did have a good game for him and all that stuff, but I'm just still watching these things where you're like, yeah, man, like I'm happy you're trying to get your double-double or your triple-double or whatever, but when you go flying in as the smallest person on the floor from behind the three-point line and you miss that rebound, and next thing you know, it's a 4-on-3 on the other end, like that's a bad play. You can't do that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And folks can follow you, by the way, Evan, on Threads at Evanistics. Super easy handle.
Sometimes.
What's up?
I said I can get spicy sometimes.
I like it. I love it. And tame by my standards, but I feel you, man. It's anytime you write something that gets a reaction where not everyone is happy with you, I could understand. I could understand anyone wondering, like, did I go too far with that? I just offended some people, and I'm getting so desensitized to this because, as I'm sure you know as well, man, Steve Kerr apologists are a sensitive bunch. I will never understand the level of support this guy gets. He's a coach. I don't get it. And again, it's a small group, but they're passionate, they're loud, they're almost all anonymous. Most of them don't even have a photo attached to their accounts. Wouldn't surprise me if ultimately it ended up being a chain of burners. What's up?
A ton of them are bots or burners or whatever. Like,
yeah, but
100%. Yeah,
but they're like, just if you God forbid criticize their beloved Steve Kerr, it's like you're doing something sacrilegious, and it's wild. It's just, he's a coach. All the dude does is hold a clipboard. I mean, if I'm talking about this, if I'm talking about Steph like this, I can understand, but and part of me wonders if there's just like a guilt by association kind of thing, or if that makes sense, where if you criticize Kerr, it's like in some people's minds by default. It's like, that means you're criticizing Steph. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, Steph actually would have been an MVP player with or without Kerr. I believe strongly in that, largely based off what he was doing when Mark Jackson was his coach. But it's just some people are sensitive, and here we are.
I'll go further. I think even Steph should be open to criticism, man. There's nobody should be immune to that, especially if you like them, especially if you want the team to win. Steph wanting to be, or Steph saying, or being complicit in being the hard center of the offense is a flaw in my opinion. And I love Steph. Steph's maybe my second favorite, maybe third favorite player of all time behind Kareem and Kobe. But
interesting. Are you a Lakers guy?
Yeah. Huh?
Are you a Lakers guy?
I'm a Warriors guy, but Kareem, social justice guy, one of the most amazing careers.
Trained with Bruce Lee. Substack, are you? Because he still writes.
Yeah, he's still on it. Yeah.
And it's really long, eloquent pieces, by the way, that he's, I mean, he's like 80 years old and he's still just pumping out content. It's incredible. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Like you said, just like thoughtful, in-depth, all that. I love Kareem. And Kobe was just, I came up, I grew up and I saw, I was a kid with the starter jacket when I saw the Michael Jordan era, and I'm still here. I'm going to Warriors games. I'm watching Chris Mullin. I get to see the We Believe stuff, as I'm in high school and all that stuff. But the Kobe era was 96, so I was in middle school, and then all the way through like my formative basketball years. So Kobe just became my guy, and that's what it is. That's what it is. But when if I'm watching the Warriors play the Lakers, I'm cheering for the Warriors. There's no doubt about that. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Because I was muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Usually I'm accustomed to my guests calling me out when I'm muted and talking like an idiot with no one. I was going to say jokingly that if you had answered that with Lakers, I would have had to contemplate kicking you off the show.
Time to get him off the show.
Yeah, just literally like, bye. Like, thanks, Evan, for showing up. No, but we're not going to do that, obviously. And not to mention you answered correctly. By the way, Malifi Leons is currently at the podium where he was in a second ago. We'll play some sound from him if it comes down the wire and available for me to play. And again, Malifi in his first significant minutes that did not represent garbage time, 9 points, 8 rebounds in 17 minutes, 52 seconds for the youngster. So Malifi, just to give you some facts, he's not that young. He turns 27 in September. So this isn't somebody who's necessarily that green. And it was interesting. I don't know if you were listening to the broadcast tonight, Evan, but Malifi literally grew up in Holland and played youth basketball with Quentin Post. Nice. So they're very familiar with each other. And Quentin Post was interviewed at halftime before we went into the tunnel, and was asked about that. So that's a wild card. Small world, I guess, on that front. Although I guess when it comes to like 7-footers and folks creeping toward that length, maybe it's not such a small world.
Yeah. That subsection of the population is a little bit smaller. Exactly. They're going to encounter each other more.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so that was interesting. And again, if Malifi, if those sound bites become available anywhere, I'll play them happily. Oh wait, no, there's already one here. Why wait? This is courtesy of Joseph Dykes of the Bay Area News Group. Bravo. We already got some Malifi sound. Are you ready for this, Evan?
Let's do it.
The drama. And then I'm going to ask you, Evan, a question that I think is far more down your wheelhouse pertaining to narratives, and one that the Warriors are strongly pushing. I mean, it's obvious, it's blatant, and it feels so contrived. I'll explain what I mean in just a second. But first, let's listen to Malifi Leons. This might be his first introduction to Dub Nation, because I don't know what other settings he's been in where he's actually conducted interviews. But here he is, again, following the Warriors beating the Grizzlies tonight handily. The final score, 133-112. And Warriors youngster-ish Malifi Leons. I say youngster, he's like 26, turning 27 in September. Here he is following his solid debut for the Warriors.
Just play hard, trying to defend, trying to compete, and rebound. Seemed like, I think so. First quarter,
run with this group?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did it feel like? Did you expect to play tonight? And just what was your expectations coming in
Yeah,
the
I
game?
heard I was going to go in the first, and I was just excited, ready to go. Those chances don't come around often, and that definitely was going to grab it.
Yeah. What kind of rhythm do you feel like you guys were able to find as a group? The ball seemed to be popping. You're playing up tempo. Just how did that affect the Grizzlies throughout the course of the game?
I just think the pressure and keep going at it and keep sending guys to the glass and playing fast, wore them out again.
Last game you guys struggled with turnovers. How did you guys kind of avoid that in this game?
Not necessarily true. I guess everyone looked at the film and
Played a bad team.
But I wouldn't know.
Just how do you want to build on this? You're coming out making the most out of your opportunity tonight. How do you want to build on this moving forward?
Just sticking around to every opportunity that comes. We just got to be ready for it.
How do you stay ready for your opportunities? How was your process?
I don't know. Just enjoy the process. I'm in the locker room with great players who did a lot of stuff and enjoy it. And when the time comes, this one is time to move.
Is there a play in the locker room that's kind of helped you as you came on the team and learning about what it's about?
I mean, I think all the players helped me out and been supporting me, so it's just been really good.
How has Santa Cruz prepped you for playing for the Warriors?
Oh, really well. They play exactly the same over there, and Coach Lane makes sure that he teaches us how to play as well. We don't just go out there and go ball. He teaches us the right things, the right fundamentals that translate to the next level, and they're really prepping us for it.
All right, and that's Malifi Leons making his unofficial debut with the press following a nice, solid starting outing or debut outing for him in real minutes. I think that's the best way to describe it. Evan, your reaction to someone who looked like he was being interviewed for the first time by the press?
Oh, you know what? I'm just happy for him. There's no hard takeaway with that. I'm happy for him. He looked good tonight, and I want to see him more on the court. Media training is the thing that I sometimes want people to have more of, and sometimes I don't. And it's just nice to see someone kind of authentic and raw and just kind of in the moment, in the experience. So happy for him.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and again, hopefully this is a sign of more to come. If there's anything to take away from his performance tonight, to me, it's that he didn't do anything which would make me not want him to play more. He did not send a message to the coaching staff that he's not ready to take on a bigger role. And again, it played 17 minutes, 52 seconds, shot the ball efficiently, 3 of 5 from the field. His 1 3-point attempt looked clean. I remember that vividly. The only blemish really was the free throws. Those 2 he missed at the end, and and you could blame Bob Fitzgerald for the free throw jinx by just I'm kidding, obviously, but the old superstition in the NBA is when a player is at the free throw line and there's some sort of significant stat there, the broadcaster should not be highlighting it. Similar to a no-hitter in baseball, you don't really talk about it that much.
Yeah, you gotta just let it go.
Yeah, it's just better left unsaid. It's a faux pas, if you will. But anyway, so he missed 2 free throws at the very end. Was 2 of 4 from the free throw line, but the 8 rebounds stick out. Got a block, 2 steals, so defensively he was sound. The 8 rebounds though sticks out the most to me, tied with Podziemski's 8 boards and Quidden Post's 8 boards as your team leaders. Draymond Green was a late DNP. And this has become something that I feel like we're getting accustomed to. You have a certain sect of the fan base which is and it's growing louder, that just wants Draymond to go away. Essentially, I don't know if they feel like that when Steph is active, but when Steph doesn't play, I'm with them. I don't really see the point of Draymond playing when Stephen Curry isn't playing. It's taking minutes away. For example, if Draymond Green played tonight, Malifi Leons would not play tonight. So in all likelihood. So I thought just the opportunities other players are getting when he sits out helps. Offensively, he's a bit of a liability. If the threes are falling, great, but more times than not, they're not falling. And the defense, it's elite. I think it's still elite, but when you're just one dude, and it's that one perk of your skill set suddenly is not as important in the big picture when you're needed for a lot of other things. And so I'm of the opinion, like when Steph doesn't play, if he sits out, great. And tonight he didn't play, the Warriors won. So you're going to have a lot of people who will point to his presence as playing a part in that. What are your thoughts on Draymond Green's current role with the Warriors?
Well, so this is where I get frustrated with some of the conversation around the Warriors and the Warriors offense and like how special and high IQ and blah, 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 blah. Like the thing people don't realize is the Warriors play 3 different offenses. When Steph Curry's in the game, they play one offense. There's just a lot more action on and off ball. There's a million screens. There's just in general, even though I've heavily critiqued it as being, option 1, 2, and 3 are Steph Curry shoots, screen for Steph Curry, pass to Steph Curry. I still think the motion and the complexity of that offense is the most complex offense that the Warriors run. And for that offense, even if Draymond's not shooting well, I think he's really valuable in that role. I think you like him whether he's in the post or whether he's in the screen action, in the split cut, or in the split action. I think he's really good at slipping screens. I think he's good at directing traffic and getting everybody in the right place. And he's probably the best passer on the team. So I want him there when you have Steph Curry there. When Steph Curry's out of the game, you run the offense that they've played today, which is basically in line with what everybody else does in the league, where you maybe have a 3-man game at the top of the key. Everybody stays outside of the key unless you have Post or Horford in. Then you might have somebody that's actually like near the paint. And then they run, a couple screens, try to get a 3-point shot. But once the first 2 or 3 passes happens in the top of the shot clock, it's just pass around and see if you can find an open guy for a shot. Like almost nobody even drives in that circumstance. And that's where Dre's less efficient. And then the third offense is when you have Jimmy on the team and it's like, okay, none of that other stuff worked. Pass Jimmy the ball, everybody go to the other side and basically let him ISO. Maybe somebody's gonna screen for him, but more likely someone's gonna look to be like a cutter or a pop pass for him. And so like in 2 of the 3 offenses that the Warriors play, Dre has less utility. There's no doubt about that. But it's partly because their offenses heavily simplify when Draymond's out of the game. And you just don't have, he's not a shooting threat. He's not really a driving threat unless he has a clear downhill lane. And so I understand that. But again, defensively, if he's actually locked in and if it's not him and 4 guards where he has to overhelp to everybody on the team, he's still one of the best defenders in the league. He's still the smartest defender I've ever seen. And I think to very quickly be reductive about Draymond's contribution to winning basketball on this team is pretty nuts, I think.
Yes,
so maybe that gets it. Yeah.
Steph the Goat in her chat saying Draymond Green can play spot minutes in matchups where like a Wemby or Jokic is playing, but adding that the money part of it, where he's got interestingly enough, he's got a player option for next year. So if he wants, and again, this is not an option that I'm going to rule out, but if he wants, he can opt out of his current contract and try to get one more big deal out there, depending on how long he wants to continue playing. I'm going to guess that there will be a market for him if he decides to opt out. I don't know if that market includes the Golden State Warriors, but I also don't think he's going to still get $25 million a year. My guess would be if he got one more deal, it'd be like 3 years, $45 million or somewhere, something like that. But I could also see
if he opts out and takes a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, and
State,
we'll see what happens with that. But Steph the Goat with that opinion. I also saw a couple people in the chat writing about opportunities. Julian Bashir writing that Brandon Podziemski has 68 games in his career with 30 minutes or more in less than 3 years as an active basketball player. Moses Moody and Kaminga combined for 74 in 5 years. I think KKS first wrote that, adding "make it make sense." It doesn't make sense, but here we are.
It doesn't make sense at all. It
doesn't make sense at all. And one last Podziemski thing I want to bring up, and this goes back to the narrative thing, because Evan, in case people aren't familiar with you, again, they can follow you on Threads at Evanistics, and I think you sometimes join the Professor Armando Laura on his show. Spreewell Was Right. So thank you again for joining us tonight. I feel strongly, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, that the Warriors are working overtime, pushing the image and brand of Brandon Podziemski, meaning like he's on every graphic. They sometimes go out of their way to make him as the player of the game. His face is on everything. And it's I don't know if this effort is being directed by Kerr, by the front office. I don't know if the marketing staff just thinks he's the most appealing player to focus on. The statistics outside of minutes per game do not reinforce him being the face of the franchise, but that's what the Warriors are pushing. It's a very strong narrative, and to me, it's very transparent that they're trying to force this on us. For I don't know if it's for jersey sales. I don't know if like Podziemski kind of has an appeal to that section of the fan group who loved Stephen Curry because he resonates more with the common man as someone who's 6'3" versus like 6'8", 6'9". Like he's more normal, if that makes sense, than the typical NBA player who's just an athletic freak, size wise and with physical gifts. Steph is, he kind of resembles your more average human being, your more average male with a 6'3" slender frame. And part of me wonders if that's maybe at least a part of the reason why Podziemski is being pushed out there, because he's an inch taller. When you watch him out there, he resembles a lot more to me of a plumber or like a contractor playing basketball than an actual elite athlete. I don't know what's going on, but what's your take on all that as someone who has been working in the world of narratives?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think it's one, that they hear that there's a lot of Podziemski criticism among just whether it's on social media or in Dub Nation in general, things like that. And there's a little bit of I can't speak. There is a clear decision within the franchise to be like, we are unified. Everything's fine. We know he's getting a lot of minutes. We're supporting him. We're behind him, etc. Right? Like, I think it's part of kind of like pushing back on that critique and trying to not look like they're a franchise in trouble by starting somebody and playing somebody who, with all these minutes, who has no business really being a starter in this league. But I think two is they're appealing to a certain crowd. Like since they've moved to San Francisco, the Warriors have increasingly tried to brand themselves in line with wealthy Silicon Valley, like semi-conservative types of people. And he looks like the kids of all the like tech CEOs and all the people who have he looks like their kid. He's got the broccoli haircut, he's like kind of into appropriating Black culture, but he's not leaning so hard into it that he's like totally problematic yet. He's just kind of like there and free, and he works really hard because his legs are short, so it looks like he works really hard. And I really think it's part of that image. They're like, we are tech, we are Silicon Valley, we are the Peninsula crowd, like we are in line with you said trust fund babies and things like that. Like this group of people, as they're trying to distance themselves from the East Bay Oracle, like more diverse, more working class. All the Oakland teams used to be very working class.
Yes, big time. Yeah.
Right. And in moving to San Francisco, they're trying to distance themselves from that. They're trying to be more luxury. They're trying to be a little bit more white. They're trying to be a little bit like slightly, mildly conservative, right? Like San Francisco conservative, where you're like, you are cool with gay people, but you hate taxes, and you just got to be like that, right? Like it's that type of thing, and I think that's what he's about. Yeah,
and but do you see the same thing? 100%,
100%.
Okay, all right. So I'm not delusional. Okay,
the Warriors media machine is working overdrive right now and trying to present themselves as not collapsing, and there are various elements to that. And it's a lot of the talk of relevant basketball. I think it's putting Brandon Podziemski forward. I think it's bringing in Porzingis even like, and I don't hate Porzingis. I think Porzingis might be an interesting guy if he could stay healthy. That's always
If he
been a
could
problem
play,
with
yeah,
him.
yeah, that's a huge
Right.
if.
I don't have faith in him the way I don't have faith in Anthony Davis to ever stay healthy. But like that's there is a logic to that I at least I understand the direction they're pushing.
If he actually plays, correct. I'm with you on that. But that is such a huge what if. It kind of drowns out the afterthought, which is if he plays, what he's going to do. But it's the actual availability of it it's just too big of a variable to ignore. But that's just
me out because Dunleavy, threw his little kind of low key shot at Kaminga when someone asked him about Kristaps Porzingis' availability and injury, and he was like, "Oh, well, we're losing somebody who like has some availability issues, and we're bringing somebody back in." But it was like, dude, yes, does Jonathan Kaminga have some injuries? Absolutely, but he also has a ton of DNPs. It's not like his availability is solely because of injury. It's also because Kerr keeps him on the bench, and so like that's like treating those as being equivalent is just like a weird angle to me to act like that's the same thing.
Yeah, Ronald McPaul in our chat saying, "I wish the Kristaps Porzingis unicorn dream was real."
Tingus Pingus,
aka Tingus Pingus. So and who knows? Again, the Warriors after this game tonight, they've been getting a lot of days off. I feel like in the same vein that so many people, and it was a valid complaint, I thought. We're griping about the Warriors' schedule to start this season, which was rough.
Yeah, it was crazy. It
was crazy. All those back-to-backs, a lot of games on the road, stiff competition. But man, it's also been a nice little makeup for that in this part of the schedule. You're getting a lot of days off. Even when you get a back-to-back, you're getting it against arguably the two worst teams in the Western Conference, not named the Sacramento Kings. And side note, even though the Sacramento Kings just staved off a 16-game losing streak. I don't know if the beam was lit. It was in the middle of a rainstorm. So I don't know if they like that on road games either. I'm guessing yes, but I don't know if 2 nights ago they actually turned that thing on when it's like freezing and rainy and who knows. But I digress. Point is, the Warriors have a random back-to-back and it happens to be New Orleans, Memphis, which is not exactly grueling. Now they get 2 days off. They're off tomorrow. They're off Friday. Armando Lora will join me Friday for happy hour for folks.
That'll be fun. Everybody tune in.
Yeah, and if you want to join us too, Evan, that invite's always open for those Friday shows. And then Saturday, we've got some primetime action. And what I don't know is whether or not Kristaps Porzingis will be available. Stephen Curry is scheduled to be reevaluated next Tuesday, which means that he will not be available for the game Saturday at home against the LA Lakers, and the following Monday when they host, and sorry, I'm looking at my phone. That means I'm looking at the Warriors schedule. They host the LA Clippers. And side note, after that Clippers game on Monday, they get another 2 days off. So a lot of time for this team to practice and rest. And so the earliest Steph can come back would be if the math is correct. Again, they said that he'd be reevaluated in 10 days. That means the next reevaluation would be on Tuesday, March 3rd. So technically, based on that math, the soonest he'd be available would be Thursday, March 5th at Houston. I mean, let's go to the next 4 games for a second, Evan, because these games, I didn't really take a look at this stretch of games until just now in terms of the strength of schedule. They've got a doozy here. They host the 2 LA teams at home for their next 2 games. Saturday, they host the Lakers. Monday, they host the Clippers. But then they go on a road swing through the South where they take on the Houston Rockets, who always cause this version of the Warriors massive problems because they're huge and the Warriors are tiny for the most part. Just because Malifi Leons played tonight does not give me faith he's going to be seeing minutes in the near future. We're going to play a soundbite real fast from Steve Kerr as well, who commented on Malifi's performance. Evan, you and I can play body language doctors and determine maybe that's not the right way to put it, but trying to read the subtext, trying to pick out any subliminal messages, maybe, and maybe we could be body language doctors to determine just how full of shit Steve Kerr is when he's talking about Malifi Leons. Maybe he's being genuine. We'll find out. But point is, after that Clippers game, the Warriors get 2 more days off. Then they're in Houston and then at OKC. Those are your next 4 games: Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rough.
I think the Warriors will steal one somewhere, somehow. I that would be my prediction. But if they go 0-4 the next 4, it wouldn't surprise me either. And if they go 0-4 the next 4, they're going to suddenly be a game below 500. So it could be an entirely new story that we're talking about. Speaking of narratives, in about a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, your thoughts on these next 4 games coming up?
If I was to bet, I would say 1-3. But it's really going to be about who shows up for the Warriors, because the Warriors are the trap team now, right? Like, everybody knows the Warriors are in shambles. They know that that Steph may or may not play. Draymond may or may not play. Kristaps isn't there. Melton isn't there. Like, you don't know what version of the Warriors you're going to get almost until right before game time. Like you said, Draymond was a late scratch today. And so there's too much of a tendency for other teams to not circle them on their calendars like they used to. Now, if you know it's a full team and like Steph and Dre are definitely playing, like, yeah, everyone's going to be locked in. And then I actually think they're going to lose those games. But I think they have the best chance of winning when teams underestimate them right now, especially against this 4. You know, the Lakers are a little bit of a mess. So like they could beat the Lakers. That would be the team I would expect them to beat. But yeah, they're in a weirdly different position. They used to be the team that everybody showed up for hardcore, and with Dub Nation and with the franchise kind of still pretending like that's the case, it's weird because it's just not the case. Like, teams fall asleep on them all the time.
Yes, they do. And Armando first brought that up a few weeks back about the fact that the Warriors are now that trap game for opposing teams. They just sleep on them, and you can't sleep on anybody in the NBA unless you're including the Memphis Grizzlies, maybe the Washington Wizards, maybe the Brooklyn Nets. Anyone else in that absolute bottom echelon category of just awful teams? I feel like those are your 3 just purely garbage, 100% tanking, no effort, no organization, no coaching. Just go out there and play like you're on the blacktop. When you're watching Wizards, Grizzlies, Nets, that's the vibe I'm picking up. So we shall see.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you get, to somebody's point, to Jerry's, like, yeah, the Denver game wasn't exactly a trap game. It was Denver came in and they were lackadaisical and they were not prepared. They weren't taking it very seriously, and they let the game get away from them too many times.
T. Kubler in our chat saying that the Kings are the worst. Statistically, you're right. I'm not doubting that, but there are some talented players still on that team, and I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're going to lay out Kings, Grizzlies, Nets, Wizards on a platter, and you're the Warriors, and you get to pick which one of those 4 teams you don't have to play, I'm going to guess they pick the Kings. I could be wrong.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. I fully agree with you. Kings are not a team that ever sleeps on the Warriors. There's a long history there. They play hard, and every now and then, for whatever reason, Warriors lose to the Kings, and they lose winnable games against the Kings. So they're not a team that's going to fall for the trap game. And it's weird because they are maybe the worst team in the league, but like that's the game that for the Warriors would be the trap game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're right.
That's
good
how
call.
it would go.
Good point. Good. There's still trap games for the Warriors. And again, if the Kings were in the East, I don't think they're suffering a 16-game losing streak. They're still trying. That's the vibe I get. Is that and maybe that's all the more heartbreaking if you're a Kings fan and if you're a member of the organization, that they're trying and they're still losing 16 straight. Which, by the way, again, was snapped by this Memphis team in Memphis just Monday night. So if you're the Grizzlies, I don't know if it can get lower than this. You just lost 2 straight at home. The Kings one was clearly far worse. I mean, that was a team that came into your building with a 16-game losing streak, but then you follow that up with a Warriors team who really the only veteran available for them tonight, a true like hardcore veteran, was Big Al Horford, who, side note, has been playing some fantastic basketball of late, continues this stretch tonight. Big Al, 4 of 10 from the field, which is okay. It's not great, but it's not horrible either. 2 of 6 from deep. Okay, again, 33%. That's the Mendoza line. But he did have 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 points in 26 minutes, 44 seconds. I thought the impact from Big Al was felt far more on the defensive side. But the rejuvenation continues. I saw an NBA scout the other day bring up that the analytics nerds will never pick up on a player like Big Al Horford, whose knees don't warm up until February. And I saw that and I was like, that's interesting. Because I didn't know that.
I don't think his knees are warmed up, frankly. I still see, look, what I noticed with Al is when they had him on the floor, they sometimes would have Guy next to him, which was a little helpful, but they also ran a lot of zone when he was in the game, which was also helpful.
Yeah.
Anytime he has to step more than like 10 feet away from the basket, he's a massive liability. I still think he has, he's got the veteran know-how, and he could read, what people are going to do if you have him near the rim, and there's some value there. But I think the bigger picture is, if you're relying on Al Horford to anchor your defense, then you are in a bad position, right? Like we're grasping at straws to be like, yeah, Al Horford's our guy. Al Horford's doing it. Like, yeah, like he's sometimes okay in games, and he can. We've always known that he can hit shots when he's left wide open, but he's not. I have yet to see Al Horford control the game through his defense. I've seen bad drives that have gone into him that he's been able to challenge, that he's been able to block and things like that. But I haven't seen him the way that you think of like defensive stoppers get ahead of things. I haven't seen him make teams decide like, hey, we have to adjust around this because Al Horford's there. Like people just still go at him and he gets blocks on shorter guys sometimes, So I'm not fully in on the Al Horford bandwagon. I'm not hating him either, but it's a little.
All I can say about Big Al is how he started the season to where he's at now. It's night and
much
day.
Better.
100%. It's night and day, man. Because the beginning of the season, I was all in on what Armando was selling, which is this was an awful pickup. And I'm not saying he's wrong, because look, the Warriors are 3 games above 500. They're an 8 seed. They're not going anywhere. So, and this team was supposed to be a title contender when the season started. So it's not like they've gotten any closer to what was the goal, which is a championship. But at the same time, he doesn't look like a lost cause either anymore. Like he doesn't look like just a wasted expenditure, a bad move. Like there are nights where you understand why they signed him, and you see the value. It just depends. It depends on I suppose the matchup and how he's doing on a case by case basis. But and Evan, this is just to show you what's up.
I just think it's a relative discussion, when if you were a team that was seriously trying to be in the playoffs, then Al Horford is a complete liability and you can't take him seriously. As a team that like might get into the play-in and wins, some regular season games, it's nice to feel like you're salvaging something with a little bit of Al Horford there, especially compared to the fact that they don't have many other bigs. I don't like Quentin Post still has a lot to be desired on defense. They got rid of Trace, who, had his lapses from time to time, but was physically a presence under the rim like that. I would rather have Trace, and especially if you're looking at the future, I'd rather give him the minutes and let him develop and let him really sing, because when he was on, and it was really fun to watch Trace in there. So yeah, I don't know that I get acknowledging, the progress that Al has made. I get that his conditioning is like 15% better than it was at the beginning of the season and all that. But again, if you're talking about a guy whose knees warm up in February, like that's
just
come on, man, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, man. Like that's not a lot to get really excited about.
No. I mean, look, the smart move would have been to trade him before the trade deadline, I think. But again, you have a Warriors team that still wildly is going for it. So here we are. And Evan, just to show you how it's impossible to please everybody.
Sure.
Two chat posts I want to reveal. One from someone who goes by Arnold. I'm guessing because of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is that why it's Arnold? Saying, mocking us for talking just pods, Kerr. Like that's a talking point. But then you go like just a moment later, Dre stepping going, surprised they haven't talked about Kaminga yet. You just can't make everybody happy. You just can't.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about Kaminga if you want to talk about Kaminga. If you guys need some Kaminga talk, there's plenty to talk about.
Well, the Hawks didn't play, I'm not going to
play today. No.
Yeah, this is a Warriors show, but if the topic is warranted, we'll obviously bring it up. A couple other chat posts that I want to get to here. Yoko Nakagawa, I hope I pronounced that correctly, writing, one good effect of shorthanded rosters is that Steve Kerr is forced to play Quinton Post. And Quinton Post tonight, 21 minutes, 16 seconds. A good night for him. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. That's 33%. It passes the Mendoza line test. In case you're unfamiliar with that rule, 33% or better translates to 50% or better from 2. So as long as you're shooting 33% or better, the logic goes, you're not hurting your team with your shooting. So Post was fine there, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. Grabbed 8 boards tonight. Wait, no, that can't be right. Is that right? Yeah, he did. Shit, my bad. Yeah, 8 boards. What else did he do here? 12 points on the night. Added a steal. Added 2 blocks. Evan, you feel. I'm getting the impression you strongly agree with Yoko about Quinton Post. Take it away.
Yeah, about a lot of people. I think I've seen some reactions on the socials about Steve Kerr finally letting Moody get his shine, or letting Will Richard or Pat Spencer or whatever. It's like, dude, no, this is Steve Kerr was forced into this because of injuries and trades. Like, this isn't because Steve Kerr's like, hey, I actually just want to highlight this person and give them room to grow. It's because he doesn't have a ton of other options. Like, look at the roster right now. The roster is 900 really small people and a couple people that actually have NBA size. And at some point, you can't always run 5 guard lineups. So I don't give Kerr credit for that. Yes, I'm happy Post is getting more minutes. Again, I think Post should get more minutes. I think Geese should get more minutes. I think Richard should get more minutes. I think even Spencer should get more minutes. And I'm not as high on Spencer as some other guys, but like, you need to develop these players. You are not going to win a championship this year. You have no shot. You might not make the playoffs. You need to get them as many minutes as possible. So throw them in there. Yes,
sir. Agreed. Other chat posts, highlighted a few of them that I thought was worthy of discussion. Then we'll get to the mailbag. Andres Milian, this is Armando's cousin, I believe, one of them, writing that Will Richard is locked in contract-wise. Let me just confirm that. I believe it's a 4-year deal. The first 2 years are guaranteed. Let me just take a quick look here to confirm that before we continue, because this gives me a chance to get the facts all lined up. So Will Richard contractually is set to make the minimum for a player of his stature next year. He's going to make $2.1 million. 2 years from now, he's going to make $2.5 million. Has a team option. Oh, the Warriors have an unbelievable deal with this guy. Dude, poor Will Richard. I mean, I say poor, but while he's making like over $2 million, but I mean, if he really starts playing well, he's going to be deserving of far more than the $2.5 million a season that he's going to get paid by the Warriors through 2029.
Yeah.
Wow. Andres, bravo for bringing up this like subtle yet insanely huge stat. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, rookie contracts suck. That's what it comes down to.
Second round rookie contract.
Yeah, especially second. I mean, look.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's a world where the good thing about that, if you want to be like cutthroat capitalists, is if you have him playing undervalue, if you have Draymond, opting out and then taking a team-friendly deal and all that, like, you might actually be able to get some people who could help the Warriors pretend that they're going to win a championship. But I'd rather just see Richard get paid.
Well, from the player's perspective, yeah, but from the Warriors' perspective, I mean, they got a steal.
Yeah, they got a steal, of course.
Mike Dunleavy
if he sees the floor,
getting a little boost in terms of credibility there, because he's been getting the brunt of criticism for good reason. But that's a little silver lining on Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s part, locking down Will Richard for the next 3 years. Bravo. But Andres Milian is asking, what about Quinton Post, Guy Santos, and Pat Spencer? Let's take a look. We start with Quinton Post. who is also on that that second round contract situation. He was a former second round pick. And let's take a look here. Quentin Post is on a 2-year contract. I don't know if that was signed last year. Oh, so Quentin Post will be a restricted free agent after this season. So there you go. Good spot for the Warriors to be in. Guy Santos, his contract situation. And he's in the final year of his deal too. Restricted free agent. So that's 2 players who the Warriors have complete control over. And again, this is where if I was the GM of another team, and granted, I don't know if Quentin Post or Guy Santos are that revered by the Warriors, but it disappoints me more teams are not at that elite level of gamesmanship where they're often like offering restricted free agents contracts that force their teams to match and put them in salary cap hell. I always think back to Austin Reeves, the last contract he signed with the LA Lakers. He was a restricted free agent. The San Antonio Spurs had an opportunity to give him a max contract that the Lakers would have matched. The Lakers were not going to let go of Austin Reeves, but it would have put them in salary cap hell. Like they would not have been able to get Luka Doncic. But the Spurs just sat there and was like, nah, we don't care. I don't get that. I mean, this is a competitive business. Like there's only one goal here, winning. And then anyways, let's go back. So Pat Spencer.
Spurs are doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing okay. Yeah, but this was like a few years back when they weren't doing okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why they did that. But okay, and then Pat Spencer.
But KKS is right. The CBA is very brutal. It's nuts.
The CBA sucks. Yeah. Pat Spencer also, wait. This is a weird one. Pat Spencer in 2026-27 is considered a conditional player. I've never seen that before. What does that mean? I honest to God don't know what the hell that means. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Well, they must have rights to him, right?
That's what I would guess. Yeah. Because okay. I don't know. This is a weird one. Because it shows that he's a conditional player next year and then a restricted free agent 2 years from now. Hold on. What is going on here? Pat Spencer. Okay. Well, the point is, if the Warriors want to keep Pat Spencer, they can.
Yeah. Because he was picked up off the 2-way. So they have like full control over him right now. Yeah.
For 2 more years, at least according to Spot Track. That's what I was looking at. So on there, hopefully we helped you with that. KKS in our chat saying Moses. Oh, we already played that one or touched on that one where Brandon Podziemski's gotten more 30-minute games than Moody and Kaminga almost combined. Simon too. Evan, sometimes you just get random things in your chat or email. Simon too writing Malifi Leons is not a winning player. Okay.
We don't know that.
I know we don't
know that. He got like 17 minutes tonight. It's the first time we've seen him. Like, what are we talking about?
Simon, that's so out of left field, man. Like, will you elaborate on that? Like, what makes you think that Malifi Leons is not a winning player?
Also,
like, are you familiar with him from
like half of the roster's not winning players? Like, Pods isn't a winning player. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're serious
Simon,
about winning in the playoffs,
because it's so did you just randomly decide to write that without no basis in reality, or like, is there something that we don't know? Like, what? Oh, here, Simon too. Following up, I'm dying to know what he meant here. Saying the Nets. No, you didn't. That's not what we're talking about here. Simon too. Why did you say he's not a winning player? Oh, here we go. He follows up with, "We know if Kerr doesn't play him, he's not a winning player." So I think he's being facetious.
Okay,
in saying that.
Fair.
Because Steve Kerr's
appreciate
not
you, Simon.
Yeah, Simon, do appreciate you. Yeah, he's joking. Okay, that good joke. Good joke. I mean, you got my full attention there. Bravo. Tracy McKindle in our chat, asking a question for us too.
The legend.
She is, agreed. And I got it. And when we get to the emails, we're going to touch on hers as well. Writing, do they platter so the unks? I don't get this because Kerr coaches them or Kerr lets them play without turning into pretzels over Steph. Evan, do you know what this means? I'm lost.
I don't exactly. Tracy, can you clarify?
What does the platter part mean? Do they? I'm guessing like Yeah,
I guess
Tracy,
it sounds like what she's saying, and Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, are we gonna waste the youth so that all the old guys can play, or are we gonna actually get them on the court? And I mean, I expect there's no chance once we get the Unks back that the young guys are gonna have any real shot at playing time. And I don't even think there's meaningful basketball left in the season for the Warriors, but something approaching meaningful is all going to go to the Unks.
unless Steph comes back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Because with Steph, you never know. I mean, I want to be realistic, but
I'm telling you, I know. I hate to say this. I love Stephen Curry. I'm telling you this.
But
I am dying for him to get a 5th championship. It's not happening this year. There's no world where this team with Kerr running it, with the way that they haven't developed people throughout the year, with the way the team is so incredibly Steph-centric, so insanely Steph-centric, is going to make it deep in the playoffs. I don't care if Steph scores 50. He's going to score 50 over and over and over again, and then other people are going to be shut down because with the offense focusing so much on Steph, like Steph's 50 doesn't come freely, right? A lot of Steph's 50 or, however many, 30, 28, whatever it is, a lot of it's forced because the offense is designed to make that happen. It's people passing up open shots to get Steph Curry that shot. And so if that, if that's the case, it's not like when you get a Steph 30 piece and other people have like 15 and 20 and 18 and 25, Riz, I don't know about all that. That's going a little far. But I do think this version of the Warriors with Steph Curry being the like 125,000% focus of the team is just not a winning team. Like I think you need to have a little bit more diversity in your offense. I think the defense needs to be able to pretend that they have to guard anybody else through the first 20 seconds of the shot clock.
and I agree with you, but it's also because of how special and unbelievable Steph is. I'm giving the Warriors, if he's healthy, if he comes back healthy, and let's say Porzingis is available for half the postseason for like 15, 20-minute stints, I give them a 1% chance.
I mean, yeah, if we want to go full Dumb and Dumber and say,
Yes.
like, so you're saying there's a chance, like, I'm
not
here
that
with
in
it.
school, because Dumb and Dumber was like what
One
was
in a
like
million, yeah, it was 1 in a
0.001.
million. It was 1 in a million.
I'm giving a solid 1%. Like 1 out of 100. I think those are the odds you're playing with.
A 1% chance.
But in reality, again, pragmatically speaking, you're 100% right. But
I just don't. I don't
still
think they
Yeah.
hold up in the playoffs. I think their offense is really designed for regular season, and when teams look, I think the teams mostly understand them now.
Agreed.
But when they're scouting them and their whole defense is focused on that for 7 games, I just don't think that goes very far.
Well, and just piggybacking, I love the postseason reference you made there, because in the playoffs, 3-point shots don't fall like they do in the regular season. Play gets tense. Every possession is intense. Officials are suddenly calling a much tighter game. So free throws are playing into this a lot bigger. But most importantly, the remaining teams in the postseason are exhausted from the rigor of an 82-game regular season. And so besides the exhaustion and all the other reasons I just listed, threes don't fall typically like they normally do. You can't rely on the 3 in the playoffs, which is a huge reason why when Steph adapted his game and built some strength so that he could attack the paint and get those easier buckets, that was a game changer. And it contributed, I thought, largely to 2022 and Steph getting that 4th championship, is because he was able to start attacking and using physicality to get easier buckets. It was a massive payoff. I'm with you, though, in the sense that the way the Warriors are constructed now as a team that lives or dies with a 3-point shot, you're going to die in the postseason if you're going to rely on that strategy. And they don't have an alternative. They don't have a plan
when
B.
Defenses get to be incredibly physical with them, when they get to spend the entire time like hedging Curry on every screen action or anything like that, and they're like the blueprint's been out there since they blew the 2016 finals, right? Like you beat up Curry off ball every time he goes by you. That's what you do. And it's not that that stops Curry, right? Like obviously we had the 2022 championship and that was huge, but that was largely due to the fact that there was more firepower on the team and they had one of the top defenses in the league. And I think in the playoffs, our defense is going to fall apart. I think you can't count on Kristaps. I think Horford's going to fall apart in the playoffs if we get there. And I think the offense becomes just way less efficient when teams are really honed in on it for multiple games in a row.
Some more chat comments. First of all, Jerry Lane in our chat saying there was no world where I don't know who they is, but they thought the Warriors would win in 2022 either. There were exceptions to that rule. This guy right here with two thumbs pointed in his direction was one of the exceptions. In the summer of 2021, when I saw this roster constructed, and by that point I was doing the Locked On gig, it's a huge reason why I think my status got elevated in the grand scheme of things, is because I was out here telling everybody, dude, the Warriors are winning the whole thing. I was guaranteeing the championship at that point. That the roster in when Bob Myers put that roster together, Jerry is right. Steve Kerr did not think they'd win the title that year. No,
sure. He didn't believe in Wiggins.
What's that?
He didn't believe in Wiggins. Wiggins was so crucial that season. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did.
Yeah.
But again, I'm sorry for the
brag. No, I think that was first of all, they were the underdogs. Let's be clear. They were the underdogs, right? Like they won because of Steph transcendent play. Everybody did think it was like, I'll grant that. Like people thought it was the Celtics year. There's no doubt about that. But
I didn't, but yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I'm not shading you.
But the general consensus.
The general consensus with that was that it was a Celtics year.
And what I was telling everybody that season is the Warriors have two threats: the Grizzlies, and that series was tough. It went 6 games, conference semis, and the Celtics, and the Warriors again took care of business. But that roster was perfect. It was exceptional. I did think they could have used another center, but then I interviewed Steve Kerr that year, and I asked, true story, man. I asked Stephen Curry, do you want more size on this team? And this interview is public. It's out there. And he said, yes, I desperately do. And that was one of the first times I started to realize that Steph will say the right things. And he probably believes a lot of things that don't transpire into reality, because he's ultimately just following the leadership of Steve Kerr. And then when I asked Steve Kerr about that, because I more specifically, I brought it with Kerr, like Kevon Looney's not a traditional center. And the trade deadline was approaching, and I was like, is that something you want on your team? And he pushed back, and he was like, I disagree with you. I think Kevon Looney is a traditional center. And look, he was right. I mean, Kevon Looney, that postseason, grabbed 22 boards in a closeout game against the Mavericks to win the Western Conference title. Looney was fantastic. I mean, I was blown away. I was very skeptical of Looney. I just wanted help. I guess what my argument that season was,
Looney deserves skepticism.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was the front court was thin. It was basically Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, you had Nemanja Bjelica, who was 6'8", and I guess he was technically kind of a big. Otto Porter Jr., who in any other situation would not be a big with the Warriors, who's a big. So I had a little bit of a concern for reinforcements, for not wearing these guys down. And then Steve Kerr was like, no, we're fine. And look, they were. They never got hurt. Kevon Looney was exceptional. Point is, we fast forward now to 2026. I'll give him a 1% shot.
Yeah. I talk a lot about learning the wrong lessons from things, right? Like I think it's important to highlight that they got lucky with injuries, that people kind of overperformed.
Which injuries do you think they were lucky on more specifically?
By the time they get to the finals and they were like, they had it together, I thought, like having the injuries happen at the right time matters. And then having injuries, all the way up the bracket happen in the right time with opposing teams matters too. Like they were not hampered by the time they get to the finals. Like, let's put it that way. Like, I don't think that despite anything that went on in that season, by the time they were at the finals, they looked like a good team, the Warriors. In 2022.
Well, don't forget when they started that season, they started 18-2.
Yeah.
So they started that year on a tear, and that was without Klay Thompson, by the way. That was when Jordan Poole was really starting to emerge, and he was the starting two guard that season. And I still believe firmly that the idea of putting a ball handler next to Steph really originated that year because of how it was paying off with Jordan Poole. Unfortunately, what Steve Kerr does not recognize his Poole is 6'5". He's got the build of a shooting guard, and so that helped.
And he's athletic as hell.
And he's athletic as hell.
Like as much as like I think he has his weaknesses, but he's super fast. He's explosive. He could jump. Like, he's not. It's not having, and I don't mean to like hard shade, but it's not having Pat Spencer and Pods and Buddy Hield, or I know Hield's in Atlanta now, but like having these guys who are not particularly athletic and also short, right? Like you have somebody who's, again, slightly taller than these other guys, but was also like, you couldn't ignore him because he would blow by people.
Correct. Such a shame that what transpired there. Anyways, but and by the way, Julian Bashir is saying that the Kerr get me fired. Fired from what? I did not get fired from my last job. I voluntarily quit because again, it was my last employer. Again, there was a lot of shady shit going on there, and I came to the realization if I went independent, and when I say independent, I believe it does. I'm not literally independent, like that network below Evan's face there, that where it says BLEAV, like that's a real network. They're not as big as Locked On. They started a few years after Locked On, but they're getting there, man. They're the ones who locked down FanDuel right there. I mean the partnership is with the network and this show, but I never got fired. And truthfully, Julian, I don't think I'm anywhere on Steve Kerr's radar. I think when Steve Kerr sees my face, my guess is his reaction is, I kind of remember you, like that, and that's it. And that's all he's thinking. Like, it's not, I doubt highly it's getting to him that, hey, that one podcaster guy keeps bad mouthing you. It's like, he doesn't care. He's got bigger fish to fry in his life. I highly doubt I'm on his radar, but I digress. We never got an answer from Tracy McKindle about that platter question. Riz in our chat saying, realistically, do you think Steph will still return? Like, is anything going to change if he does? I mean, we were still going to be so bad. What's even the point of him returning? Should he just sit out? I'm not an expert on runner's knee. Evan, do you have any familiarity with runner's knee?
No, but I think Steph's going to come back. I think they got to sell tickets. I think they have to continue the illusion that this team is not tanking. They've already come out there and said it. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think there's a chance where they bring him in for some games just to make sure that they get the, if it's one of those big nationally televised games, you might got to have Steph for those or something like that. But also it's just one of those, if they're actually looking like they have a chance at making this play in, you need Steph for that, and he's going to work through it. But I don't think they sit him for the rest of the season. I think they should, but I don't think they're going to.
I don't doubt that. I was referring more to, do you think Steph will actually be healthy enough to play again? Because
he hasn't been healthy all season. He's been fighting through injuries all season. I mean, I don't know what that looks like for Steph Curry anymore. One, he's old, but two, he's just beat up. Like we're running him ragged. Armando talks about injury ball all the time, and I think he's right about that. Like you can't have his usage rate, and I don't like usage is not fairly like usage doesn't actually capture how much intensity Steph Curry's movement has with the offense, because the ball's not always in his hands. But the ball, the whole offense revolves around Steph Curry. So when he runs through 300 screens before getting the ball, you should be counting that as really high usage on him.
Agreed.
And so I think he has the highest usage of anybody in the league, and it shows. You get wear and tear on that. You get quads that mess up. You get back issues. You get, calves. You get runner's knee. You get like all these things that every now and then are going to have to pop up in missing games. But even if they don't pop up in missing games, are something he's working with on the court. And I think you could see it. You see it in the fourth quarters when he's tired. You could see it when he doesn't have his pop anymore and stuff like that. It just happens.
That's a good point. And again, I just don't know if this runner's knee thing, though, it's I'm not going to forget what Richard Jefferson said a couple days ago, and I brought this up on last night's show, Evan, that Richard notices Steph not sitting. And that's one thing that when he said that, it did suddenly trigger a memory of knowing someone who had that condition and he couldn't bend the knee, and it was really sensitive. And so when I heard that, I kind of freaked. I'm like, oh shit! Like, is this Steph thing more serious, than we
maybe? They should sit him for the rest of the season. Like if it's remotely serious, again, they're not winning the championship this year. I know you got 1% on it.
You don't know that, Evan. You don't know that. You and your assumption. No, I'm kidding.
It is an assumption. It is a
Oh, you're
guess
probably
that
right.
is as close to educated as I can deliver.
You're being
But it's not
practical.
happening.
Yeah, you're being
So
practical.
let's sit them. And I know people.
My fams in the chat's asking, does anyone have any Hawks podcast recommendations? Bryce Lewis, he was just on the show last week giving us a great breakdown of Kristaps Porzingis, and his show is Believe in Hawks. That's where, again, it goes back to the name underneath Evan right there, Believe. They have a lot of shows, just like how they call it Locked On Hawks. There's also a Believe in Hawks. Golden Days, I guess we're just that special. We don't have to be called Believe in Warriors. We are Golden Days. But yeah, so Believe in Hawks would be my strong recommendation. And if you missed that show last week with Bryce Lewis, it is up and running. Hamza, question for both of us, even though he's at Cy. Evan, this goes for you too. Do you think we match up well when he says we, he's referring to the Golden State Warriors with anyone in the playoffs in the West? Good question. And honestly, I do think. Now, granted, Dylan Harper didn't play in this game, and granted, Victor Wembanyama has, I feel, improved as the season has gone along. But the Spurs, with their and this was also when the Warriors had Jimmy Butler, and that's a massive difference between having him and not having him, but for obvious reasons. But I thought the Spurs were weirdly a good matchup because what they were doing. In terms of having Wemby surrounded by four guards, that's just copying the Warriors style. And what I've noticed is a pattern is any team that tries to copy the Warriors or try to match them in terms of small ball for small ball or 3-4 guard lineups with 3-4 guard lineups, the Warriors are going to win that like 9 times out of 10. And it's a huge reason why I thought the Thunder last year were gettable for the Warriors. They won the season series 2-1. The one loss was a game where Steph didn't even play. And granted, everything's changed so much. It's night and day now. Jonathan Kaminga was on the team back then. He's not now, for obviously. My point is, the Spurs, I thought, were a decent matchup. I mean, there was a reason the Warriors won those 2 games early in the season, the back-to-back set in San Antonio where Steph and Curry dropped 49 and 46. Draymond Green served the purpose. He played defense on Wemby and took that seriously and was effective enough to cause havoc. But the Spurs, the lineup they like to run, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Vasil, they like putting those 4 guards on the floor and surrounding Victor Wembanyama with that, and it's very effective in 90% of the time. But the Warriors also love doing that, and when you have Steph and Curry on your team, you've suddenly got a fighting shot. Now, granted, again, that when the Warriors won those 2 games, they had Jimmy Butler, so now. The Kristaps Porzingis kind of takes away that matchup edge that they had back then, because if you're relying on Kristaps, now Draymond is your 4. So you no longer are matching speed with speed, style with style. So to me, it's like none of the top teams look like a good matchup for me. Like, I don't believe the Warriors would beat the Spurs now, even if Steph was healthy. That's too much for Steph to carry on his own. The only teams in the top 6 that I could see the Warriors having maybe a fighting chance against would be the Lakers.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix, oddly enough, who are currently the 7 seed, the Warriors have beaten them twice already this year. That's another team they match up with well. And Phoenix is dealing with a lot of very serious injury concerns. Both Devin Booker and Dillon Brooks out. Dillon Brooks with a broken hand. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks, most likely. I don't know when Dillon Brooks is coming back. I think he's dealing with a knee injury. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember the exact issue with him. But again, I look at matchups. Lakers and Phoenix would probably be the 2 that I would hope for if I'm the Warriors. Evan, what are your thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I still think in a playoff series they lose against the Lakers. I think in a play-in they have a shot against the Suns. But yeah, like that's. I mean, the issue is I don't have faith against anybody in a series. I think they have a shot to steal a game, and if it's a play-in, you get that right. That's when you can have Steph Curry magic kind of like overcome whatever circumstances. But if you're playing a full series, I think they're in trouble against anybody in the West. Good take.
Agreed. So Hamza, that was your question. I go Rot Discovery. I think it's I go ROT Discovery. gifting a Golden Days membership. Thank you, and congrats to whoever got that one for free. Hamza, you already asked that one. Sorry, we got that. One more chat, and then we'll get to emails and wrap it up. We'll bring Shardal. I'll send you the link in just a second. You'll be our closer. Evan, you can have your first taste of the danger zone. I go ROT Discovery writing. In this era, watching Warriors play is not entertaining, exciting, and fun to watch anymore. I think today was a case in point there. Watching 4-guard lineups versus taller teams makes you irk. And Podziemski, who thinks he's better than Steph and Cade. I agree. The product is not fun. It's not riveting. Something tells me TV ratings for the Warriors are creeping toward 2010 levels. Evan, you work in the entertainment industry in film and TV. What is your take on the current Warriors product?
Yeah, I think it's boring. I think it's boring basketball. Well, this is why I was talking before about when you're talking about the pods kind of PR push and everything like that. I think they're working really hard to try to leverage their fan base and not just their fan base, but like media companies that want to make sure that their games stay national coverage, that they are an interesting team. And I just don't think they are right now. And it's sad, like you want your team to be interesting and fun and exciting, but they're just not. They're a team that is pretending to not tank, pretending they have a real shot in the playoffs. And this weird middle ground is like, I almost rather they were tanking and we're just playing the young guys and giving us something interesting to see. Like, yeah, cool. Let's see what Leons can do. Like, let's give me more of that. Give me more of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's boring. It's boring and it sucks. You want to be excited when you watch your team, but they're boring as hell.
Armando Laura is now joining us in the chat.
Hey,
what is up, brother? Yeah, Urquida's family comparing the Warriors to YMCA basketball. I'd go CYO personally, but YMCA works. Urias Delfringer saying Malifi Leons got the chance to play today. Agree. We talked a lot about that at the top of the show. Urquida's family saying that we need to capture the East Coast market and start a JK Hawks channel. If I had the time, I consider it. But plus, there's already plenty doing that, and we're a Warriors show. And Godspeed Jonathan Kaminga, but he's no longer a member of the Warriors. And at this point, the coverage of his focuses more so on just the colossal mistake and the mishandling of the Warriors with a prized asset. It's very unfortunate. You want to read some emails with me? Are you up
Let's
for
do
that?
it.
All right,
let's do it.
Open here.
Letters, we get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
We have been here on the show getting some emails. And again, side note, if you ever want to guarantee that your email or message or whatever the content is read on the show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Some Kerr apologists have affected our rating somewhat there, so we're trying to boost it up. We're at a 4 out of 5, which again, good, not great.
No, actually, I think that's perfect. You don't want to have just sycophants. You need some haters. You need some haters in your life, Cy. That's how you know you're doing the Lord's work.
Fair enough. We go to Tracy McKendall, who's also in our chat regularly. She's awesome, writing, quote, I love Gary Payton. This is so perfect. A group of 30 of us sang the national anthem at Chase Center in October of 2024. Boy, did I get a sense of what it's like to be part of live television. The pressure and timing is insane. On our way off the floor, Gary Payton shook my hand and he said, good job, and gave me his GP grin. I screamed like a 15-year-old at a Beatles concert. In parentheses, I was 61 at the time, LOL, on parentheses. He really had such a happy way about him. Apparently, he makes friends everywhere he goes. I'm glad he's having a good year and had such a great game against Denver. I asked my son what it would be like if GP were 6 inches taller. His response, he'd be like Jonathan Kaminga. And on that note, I saw a discussion somewhere I think it was maybe Gil's Arena who side note eviscerated Steve Kerr on their show today. It was a hilarious segment. But they raised a question that was actually very pertinent to basketball discussion, which is when the Warriors and the Hawks play each other on March 21st. And damn, is that going to be an event? Who defends Kaminga on the Warriors? And I thought it was a good question. And I'm looking, and I was looking at I was thinking about that, and I'm looking at the roster because the Gil's Arena crew were laughing at that question, thinking because they couldn't come up with an answer. Right? Like they were like, who plays his position? And they kept going back to Jimmy Butler, but they were like, Butler's hurt. And it was so funny hearing them say like, well, isn't Jimmy Butler a 2 guard? And I'm dying laughing at this because Steve Kerr was playing with the 4, whereas you're getting the mindset of actual former NBA players and what they think about this roster. And everyone looks at Jimmy Butler as a 2 or 3. Nobody looks at him as a 4 except for Steve Kerr. But I'm looking at this roster, and outside of maybe Draymond Green, the only dude who I think will be maybe an effective defender, and when I say effective, I mean slowing the kid down a little bit, maybe holding him to around 30 instead of a massive explosion, is GP2. My guess would be GP2 is going to be the man assigned to defend Jonathan Kaminga when he gets his revenge game on March 21st in Atlanta. Evan, what are your thoughts on what the Warriors' game plan will be to defend JK that night?
I think Steph's playing that game. I think Dre's playing that game. I think Draymond is guarding Kaminga, and I don't think any of it's going to be particularly effective. I mean, anything can happen. But Kaminga is one of the most explosive players in the league, and he has, he still has room to grow. There's no doubt about that. He still has skills to refine, but you're just gonna not be able to always stay in front of him, especially because the Hawks really, really love to push transition. They're really aggressive about it. Like, good luck. I just don't know what that looks like. And Draymond's old, man. Draymond's old. Like, I love him, but you can't have him in front of Kaminga all day. You can't have Moody. Who just said that? Abraham. No, you can't have Moody in front of Kaminga all day. It's not going to happen. And then importantly,
you try.
More importantly, yeah, I do think what'll end up happening is they're going to put a few different people on him.
Yeah.
But more importantly,
I don't think the Warriors have an answer for that. And Julian Bashir brings up a good point too. Where did his post go? Because he saw the same segment too, and he said, and I agree with him strongly on this. Julian Bashir wrote that Steve Kerr, he can't double Kaminga, because if you double him, you're admitting that he's a special player who could burn you, which then begs the question, why the F could you not play him and you force the team to trade him ultimately? There's also the fact that Jalen Johnson's also on that team. So if Jalen and Kaminga are on the floor together, how the F are you stopping that besides going into a zone and just praying for the best? I mean, praying that shots aren't falling at that point. It's a crazy situation that the Warriors have put themselves in. I'm also riveted.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game. 2 things. One, I do think they're going to end up running some zone. I think that's kind of your best shot. And then, we'll see how well Al Horford does against a super explosive person like Jonathan Kaminga. But 2, I just want to shout out my man Josiah Johnson on the Gil's Arena show. He's a great dude. I worked with him on Calling in Black and White for Netflix.
Cool. Great
guy. He's a co-host of that show. He hustles really hard, and I just want to make sure he gets some love. Josiah and the NBA meme god.
Sounds good. Beautiful. Armando Laura, our boy, dropping a $4.99 donation. Armando, thank you, brother, saying in all caps, NBA basketball is back. Warriors era over. Spreewell part 2. Sounds good. And folks, remember, do not subscribe to Spreewell was right. That is the professor's message to everyone out there. Some little reverse psychology. Do not subscribe to Spreewell was right. We're Evan Ball right there.
You are unwelcome unless you're a sycophant, is what I hear, which is the opposite of what I just said.
Yeah, not even allowed to watch. Don't even watch the show. Just no subscription, no watching, no nothing. Just stay the F away. Leave them alone. They don't want your presence. They don't want anything. Real quick, timeout on the email segment because I forgot to play this one clip. We were going to play Body Language Doctor. And
yeah.
I completely forgot to do that. Let me cut off the music here for a second. And then we've got a couple more emails, and then we'll wrap it up if that works for you. Here is Steve Kerr, and this was following tonight's game. We're playing this clip mostly because the caption said he talks about Malifi Leons' debut.
Yeah.
And so Evan Ball and I are going to play body language doctors to see if he's being genuine or if he's full of shit like he is 2/3 of the time. I remember this season, Kerr saying that Kaminga was going to be in the starting lineup and that his role was cemented. Bullshit. I remember him saying that Quentin Post was a starter and was going to be a starter permanently. Bullshit. There's a lot. There's a lot that he says that just does not actually come to fruition. And let's hear from Steve Kerr this time, him talking about the debut of Malifi Leons, the youngster, sort of 26, turning 27. Quentin Post buddy, back in their Dutch days. The Dutch. I always love Michael Caine in Goldmember, the Austin Powers third movie, where he goes, There's two things I can't tolerate in this world. There's two things I can't stand in this world. Those who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
I love that.
Spread the floor. We really played through the post quite a bit. Al was fantastic. Went to him early to establish the post, and he created a lot of advantages for us. And then they started doubling him, and we were able to move the ball really well. 37 assists, and just a really good night for everybody who stepped on the floor. Missing so many guys. I thought Malfi was awesome. Just the energy, defending without fouling, creating some problems for them at the defensive end of the floor, and then making some nice plays on offense too. It was fun to watch him play.
It seemed like pace pretty purposeful from the jump. Just what kind of tone did that pace in the first quarter set for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it was important to this team really should have beaten us a couple weeks ago. We got lucky to beat them at home. They played really well with basically the same group, missing a bunch of guys. And I think that game woke us up a little bit. I thought our spirit was right from the start. And that pace that you mentioned was a big part of that.
Well, I didn't hear Malifi Leons in that. Did you?
No.
Who tweeted that? That was from Sam Gordon. See, he wrote in this caption, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr highlighted Golden State's ball movement and the play of Malifi Leons. I didn't hear one Malifi Leons reference in there. Did you hear that? Did I miss that?
No, I missed it too. If it was in there, I missed it. Might have been. He
quoted it right here. A really good night for everybody on the floor. Malifi was awesome. Did he sneak that in there? Did anyone in the chat hear that? Well,
yeah. He moved past it real fast. It was just barely in there.
Oh, so yeah, really? Yeah. So I guess he did slip it in there. Okay. Well, I was expecting some actual analysis, not just a quick little the two-way guy. Yeah, whatever. So no body language doctoring, I guess, other than if there's any interpretation I'm gonna get from that, it's we're not seeing Malifi again. that was probably it, but I could be wrong too. Who knows? Evan, did you get anything out of that besides?
No, I just run of the mill. Like I'm tired and I'm gonna have my PR face on.
All right, let's go back to the Mailbag.
Letters. We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All right, this one is from where we go? Robert Chouette on Chardall. Let me send you the link right now, real fast, because I want to get the hell out of here. All right, so Chardall, you've got your link. Closer. I got to send him a link every show. Okay, so Chardall got his link. And now the email from, again, Robert Chouette, who writes, Dear Cyrus, I can't thank you enough for what you do. Thank you, man. Thank you for having the guts to actually speak the facts and allow the audience to express their frustration with this quote-unquote fading dynasty. Any coach that refers to their team as a fading dynasty to the public should be fired immediately. Sports is about competing, and by calling your team a fading dynasty is like indicating you are already waving the white flag and giving up. Steve Kerr's lack of player development, his favoritism towards certain players, his mismanagement of players, and his, in all caps, ego are all the reasons why we suck. I have been watching a lot of old tapes of Podziemski and Kaminga playing ball before they played in the NBA. In college, Pods played identical to how he plays now in the Warriors. Same shot selection, same moves, same shitty passing, same everything. However, due to his lack of size and athleticism, his game is not as impactful in the NBA as it was in college. Still, Kerr throws Pods in lineups with a role that is way too big for his capabilities. Giving Pods high minutes without any development or guidance and not realizing the player Pods was in college does not translate well in the NBA. Before getting to the NBA, Kaminga showed a skill set that hasn't even been showcased on the Warriors because he has always been forced to follow Steve Kerr protocol. Kaminga has never been given the opportunity to showcase his full potential like Podziemski has. It's okay for Pods to make mistakes, but if Kaminga makes a mistake, he gets pulled out of the game. The player with less attributes gets the coach's approval, while the player with all the attributes gets benched. How does this make any sense? And now Dub fans get to see Kaminga shine on the Hawks, while our team continues to play like complete dog shit. For all the Steve Kerr D-writers, I only have one thing to say to you.
Fuck you.
He specified that in the email. That Robert wanted me to play that exact sound effect. That was Robert Chouette. Great email, Robert. Thank you. And then Chardal wrote us an email as well. Forget it. But let's just bring Chardal on. Evan, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm
want to
ready
make sure you're
for
prepared.
the Chardal experience.
All right, let's get into the danger zone.
Stay at home, son.
We're in the danger zone, baby. Shardal Gupta, he's his YouTube channel is SGA Sports Talk, and he joins us at the end of every show. Shardal, how you doing?
Hey, Sai, how are you doing? How are you doing tonight?
Doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Very
Introduce
kind
yourself
of
to Evan.
It's very kind of you to ask how I'm doing tonight. How I'm doing how I'm doing tonight.
I guess
It's very
my
kind
parents
of
tell me
you.
that.
It's very kind. It's very kind of you. You're very kind, generous man.
All we can do is try, Shardal. Well, introduce yourself to Evan.
Hi, Evan.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm sipping on something fun. I'm talking about some basketball. I'm having a good time.
So, what were your thoughts on the Warriors' 133-112 win over the Grizzlies?
My thought was it was a minorly impressive game against a bad team in a non-important time of the year for a team that should be tanking.
I mean, the Golden State Warriors had so many players due to injury. I mean, anytime you have players who are injured, it will negatively impact your team.
True.
With Steph Curry out, you think that whenever players are injured, your team will actually go the down. Like, they will not go in a positive direction. They will actually go in a negative direction.
And Shardal, Urquita's family in her chat, long time Golden Days, are always appreciate your sports, saying good analysis. Bravo, Shardal.
I appreciate that. Looks like people really appreciate my analysis.
Agreed.
They love my takes.
Yes,
Indeed.
We got to pay chat real quick, Shardal. We have.
Can I stay on here and do the scoreboard while can I just be with you?
No, Shardal, we're gonna take last night we went almost 4 hours, so we're kind of taking it a little bit easier tonight. And with Evan joining us here, Shardal, do you know who Taylor Sheridan is?
Taylor Sheridan, I don't know who she is.
But it's a he. He's a former actor and now a showrunner / writer / producer.
I know who he is.
Okay, so you've seen Yellowstone.
I've seen Yellowstone, the on Amazon, on Apple TV.
Is it on Apple TV? Well, I think it's Paramount Plus. Have you seen Mayor of Kingstown?
I don't watch all these TV shows.
Okay, you're missing out because it's.
I just watch I watch Walking Dead and all those shows, but I've never heard about this show.
Well, dude, Walking Dead solid. I mean, I stopped watching it many years ago, but it was a good show while it lasted. I think it's actually still kind of going on with these spin-offs. Anyways, my point is, Evan over there, he writes the scripts for these shows.
You're very talented.
Thank you, sir. Quick connection. My boss, who is the kind of day-to-day show.
Cyrus, I'm gonna be
You interrupted Evan. Can you let Evan finish?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Evan.
No, it's my boss, who's the day-to-day showrunner on Mayor of Kingstown. He reports to Taylor, but he runs things on the day-to-day. He was the person who created Fear of the Walking Dead, so there is a connection there. And he was one of the writers, and I think he eventually ran Sons of Anarchy. So there's like a lineage there from Sons of Anarchy, Fear of the Walking Dead, the Taylor Sheridan connection back in the day to running Mayor of Kingstown.
Are you talking about the guy, Hugh? Is it Hugh Dillon? Is that his name?
Not Hugh Dillon. Hugh Dillon's great. Hugh Dillon, a lot of the show, the whole basis of the show is actually inspired on Hugh Dillon's life. So he's really incredible in bringing up a lot of the main scenarios and incredible details specifically. So a lot of the like fun details that make the scenes really sing come from him and his experiences.
And Hugh was an actor in Yellowstone. I remember him there first. I don't know what he was doing before that. And then all of a sudden he's in Mayor of Kingstown, and you see his name as like one of the top guys in the credits. And
creator, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of put that together. I'm like, okay, this team must be behind this. But then Evan, you've literally written for that show. It's such a good show. I can't wait for season 5. I'm kind of sad that it's the last season. But Shardal,
So I'm planning to go to Vegas in July to watch the Backstreet Boys concert. I'm a big Backstreet Boys fan. My favorite songs are "Quit Playing Games with My Heart," "Larger Than Life," and "Everybody." Those are my favorite songs from the band. I love Backstreet Boys.
See, Evan, every once in a while, going back to that 1%, though, and I give those same odds to Shardal in terms of him pulling a Kaiser Soze on all of us. And sometimes I think about that when he says things like that, Backstreet Boy. Shardal, are you seriously a Backstreet Boys fan?
I'm a Backstreet Boys fan.
Why are you a Backstreet Boys fan? Where did this even come from?
No, but I love the band, because I talked about musicals last time.
Yes, but musicals and Backstreet Boys, that doesn't exactly translate.
No, but I'm a big fan of their music.
Okay, all right.
My girlfriend went to that show. If you're going to it at the Sphere,
I'm going to the Sphere. I'm going there to the Sphere.
So you're gonna have a lot of fun.
I'm going, and it's already it's already set in stone. We're going to watch that show.
Who's we
in Vegas?
Who's
me, my mom, and my dad are going, and we're also gonna bring our cat along on the trip.
Dude, you're not bringing your cat with you.
You're
bringing your cat to Vegas?
To the Sphere?
No, but we're bringing our cat, and then we're gonna stay in an Airbnb. We're gonna leave the cat in the Airbnb, and then go and watch the show.
Do you put a leash and a collar on your cat? Like, do you take your cat for walks?
So we don't put a leash on my cat. He doesn't appreciate leashes. We tried to put one leash on him, and he didn't. He shook out of the leash and broke it.
I love how you said that. Like he told you. He doesn't appreciate that. He
doesn't appreciate being on a leash. He's not like a dog. Dogs really appreciate being on leashes.
I don't know.
Cat is more of a social, docile type of animal.
I do love that your cat's a tuxedo cat. That's my favorite type. Evan, are you a cat person or a dog person?
Cats. I do have to say, I grew up with cats. I had a couple dogs growing up, but my parents were very insistent that the kids do all the work to take care of the dogs. And as kids, we didn't do all the work. So our dogs didn't last very long. They, to give a mildly traumatic experience, we had a black lab who's beautiful. And one day, my parents got fed up that we weren't cleaning the landmines in the backyard.
Yes.
And so my dad was like, "Hey, it's Saturday. You guys want to go to the arcade?" We're like, "Hell yeah!" So we go to the arcade. He spends more money than we've ever seen spent at the arcade, and then we came home. The dog was gone, and my mom had taken it to her friend's house and given it to her friend. So that's my dog experience.
How old were you when that happened?
Probably middle school, maybe late elementary school.
Sad thing, Evan, is like
was very
same
sad.
thing happened to me, but mine was because of a divorce, and so I lost my childhood dog, and
Evan?
anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But
Evan,
point
you
is,
know what I
it
like?
was a heartbreaking experience. I don't know if you felt the same way. I was shattered, dude.
It was rough.
Yeah, it's
Evan,
rough.
like,
Yeah,
when
but you're saying the rest of your life you've had cats?
Yeah, mostly had cats. Yeah.
Okay.
I always had cats, and we had mostly outdoor cats, but you keep them inside for a little bit when they're young, put a collar on them, and they'd be outside, you feed them, and then they'd come back and they'd bring you birds and rats and whatever their present was of the day.
That's
Evan, like one day
Yeah.
when you go to the Sphere and watch like the shows at the Sphere, they allow you to come early to the venue, walk around and take photos of all the photo opportunities they have around the thing. They have like for the Backstreet Boys concert, they have a lot of interactive stuff. Like they have the BSB airplane that they used for their tour. They have some other cool stuff there that you could take photos with. It's very interactive. Like I think the Backstreet Boys is probably the most interactive concert I've been to, because they have all these photo ops you could take photos with. So I think I'll love it. And I'll spend 3 hours walking around everywhere taking photos of all this stuff.
I think you're gonna have the time of your life.
Yes.
And
You
there's
should
gonna be so
record
much
as
stuff
as
there.
possible.
And there's gonna be so much stuff there that I'll literally be walking around the whole venue, and my parents are gonna ask me like, what we're supposed to get going, and then I'm telling my parents I need to walk around everywhere and get out, recap the moment, and then we'll leave.
Yeah. When else are you gonna be there? When else are you gonna be at the Sphere watching the Backstreet Boys? You
Just
get every single second out of it you can.
Just that day, we're gonna be spending that day. If you go to the Sphere, the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas, the Sphere's linked to the Venetian.
Yep.
You know the Venetian Hotel? They're
Love
linked
that hotel.
together.
Yes,
So if you
yes.
go right from the Sphere, you go right into the Venetian, right into the Sphere. Then if you go from the Sphere, you go back into the Venetian.
I
What do-
appreciate that ease of transport.
What are your do your parents
We're
love
going on
Vegas, or
July-
do you love Vegas, Shardall?
We're going on
Why
July-
is it always Vegas that
We're going
You're
on
going-
We're going on July 25th to Vegas because it's in the middle. One of my parents their birthdays it's right in the middle, so
And they
it's
love
right
Vegas.
smack dab right in the middle.
Who loves to gamble on your family more, your mom or your dad?
My mother doesn't like to gamble. Well, she says that she doesn't like gambling. She loses a lot of money.
What about your dad?
My dad and I love to gamble. We love to play Russian roulette.
Evan, if you
Russian
ever need an
roulette?
idea-
No, I think you might be confused about what gambling you're talking about, my friend.
No,
Russian
we like
roulette
no.
involves
So
a pistol.
no, so Russian roulette is it's a big ball. It's a big round.
Just roulette. Take the Russian out.
and then
It's just roulette.
roulette, and then there's a ball, and then it has to roll around everywhere, and it lands on something. You win money that way.
Shardall, do you know what Russian roulette? In case you don't know, it's when you put one bullet in it, and it's usually a 6-shooter, and then you spin the barrel, and then you just pray that the bullet's not in the chamber that you pull the trigger.
So me and my dad love to play roulette, and we like to play
Roulette, yeah.
slots. We like to
Okay.
play slots. Slot machines. I love
Evan,
to play
if
slots.
If you ever needed an idea for a new show,
Oh, I'm very excited.
Evan, I went gambling. I played in the slot machines. I actually made money.
Wow.
I put
sure,
a
if
$5
someone-
bill into the machine and I won $80. I actually made a $75 profit.
Shardall, if someone approached you and said, "We want to make a TV series or even a movie about you," and you might get paid handsomely for it, all you have to do is just sign off on sharing all your stories.
I would
to
love
these
for
writers.
them to make a TV show on my life.
I think that'd be interesting. What would you rather do? Where would you rather go? A Backstreet Boys concert or a 49ers game?
I would go to a Backstreet Boys concert.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff.
This was a unique way because normally I'm the only person with you, and we go over the scoreboard. Are you? Can I go over the scoreboard with you, or are
Just
you?
today, there are exceptions. Let's make today an exception, okay?
The next time, can we do the regular?
Next time, 100%. Yeah, you're my guy. You're my guy. We just have exceptions sometimes. You know.
This is a really unique way of doing it. I know. I normally don't do it this way, where I'm the only guy.
I know.
With you, and then we go over the scoreboard, and then we end the show, and then I wish the viewers good night, and then we all go home.
I know. And Shardal, I know you're like a professional athlete. You love your routine. You need things to be in proper order. And I apologize when that gets disrupted every once in a while, but I think you can handle it. You'll be okay.
This format is kind of very similar to when Kenneth came on the show, and then we did the same format. Remember Kenneth Contreras came on, and both of us came on the show.
That was a long time ago. Yeah,
no, but that's exactly. But this is the same format, right? That's the same format. Me and Kenneth, because it's like you were on this side, I was in the middle, and Kenneth was where Evan is sitting.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Shardal, did you call into 95.7 the game?
Called in 95.7 the game. I kept it vanilla. I'm trying to keep it. I'm saying the same thing. I don't want to keep it vanilla every time I call into the show.
So who was the host tonight?
It was Mark Grandy. I miss Evan Giddings, my boy.
I know this. He lets you
Evan Giddings, my boy. Evan Giddings, my boy.
Yeah, Evan Ball. What Shardal is saying is that for the Warriors post game shows on their
Evan Giddings is my favorite. It's my favorite.
It could be either Evan Giddings typically or Mark Grande hosting.
But I like Evan Giddings.
And according to Shardal, when Mark hosts, and we've actually played one of these clips on the show, Mark will hear what Shardal has to say and then say thank you and hang up. Whereas
Evan Giddings lets me stay on.
Allow Shardal to actually
elaborate and say more stuff.
How long does Evan let you stay on with him for when he's hosting?
Maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh wow! And the producer's cool with that too.
And the producer's cool with that.
Respect. All right, good stuff.
Yeah,
well, Shardal, any final thoughts before we wrap it up tonight?
Viewers, make sure to subscribe to the SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 530 subscribers. I'm on the road to 600.
Yes. What, you're at 530 now?
I'm at 530 subscribers. Wow. I just gained one more subscriber.
Bravo. I feel like every time you come on now, hold on, you deserve an applause for that. Let's get the audience kick it up. Congrats.
And viewers, also make sure to subscribe to Golden Days in reference to the 1993 Matthew McConaughey movie Dazed and Confused. He's at 5,200 subscribers, 800 subs away from 6,000. Make sure to help my boy get up to 6,000 subs on his channel. Thank you, he's a really good guy. I love everything he does. He's very he has a great sense of humor.
But you bring spice to life, man. Shardal, you are a very awesome person.
You're very funny.
Incredible human being. A legend.
You're incredible. Yeah, you're amazing. Shardal, thank you.
Evan, I would love to have you on my show. I would be honored to have you on my show.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's connect off the show.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to connect. I don't want to do it on here on Sai's live stream.
Okay.
I'll definitely see you back here for the Warriors
Saturday
versus Lakers post game show, and I'll see you on Friday. So I'll see you on Friday for happy hour with the Professor Armando Lara, and I'll see you on the day after that, the Saturday the 28th. I'll see you for the Warriors and Lakers post game show. Let's go. Let's take down the Lakers. Warriors are gonna win 145-100. Brandon Podziemski is going to have 35 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, 8 of 8 from the field, 9 of 9 from 3. And I'll see you then. I love that you make me the closer, and I'll see you on Friday.
And Shardal,
I'll see you on Saturday.
Just to show you the respect you deserve, we're not going to do the full scoreboard tonight, okay?
Oh, I understand.
Just for you, just because you're not going to be with us, we'll refrain from all the scores, okay?
So I'll see you on Friday for the happy hour with the Professor Armando Lara, and Saturday
Yes, sir.
for the Warriors and Lakers post-game show. Have a good night, and I'll see you on Friday. Then I'll see you on Saturday.
Man, stay at home, son.
Evan, you just got your first taste of the danger zone. Your thoughts?
It's an honor to share the microphone with a legend.
He did not want to have that discussion with you though now about connecting. He made that very clear. But
No,
maybe
it's just we're on the show. We're gonna try to keep it on topic as much as we can, and sometimes that's difficult. We can get there and get off on some tangents, but we can connect outside of this and we can talk about our show. There's no problem with that.
You're a good sport, brother. Thank you. The only score I want to touch on before we go in the NBA, because there was a heavyweight battle tonight. Might have been a preview of the NBA Finals. It was the Detroit Wood Pistons hosting the OKC Thunder. Now, granted, OKC's missing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They did have Jalen Williams back, but the Pistons winning that one, 124-116. Cade Cunningham, who's slowly becoming your MVP favorite if SGA does not come back to meet the 65-game threshold. He had 29 points, 13 assists, 3 steals. Jalen Williams, 30 points, 11 rebounds in the loss. And the only other big game tonight on the docket was Spurs Raptors. San Antonio winning 110-107. Devin Vassell, 21 points. Brandon Ingram, 20 points, 11 rebounds. The game was in Toronto. So there you go. Any final thoughts, Evan? As we
a couple things. One, there was a super chat that Armando
you're right.
put in
You're right.
That we
and that's
can
Armando,
address.
our boy. Forget Armando. I'm so sorry, brother. We actually had it on the screen, but then the great Chardal, you know how that goes. So Armando, great, Evan, great call on that. Thank you for
Yes, sir.
for noticing. Right. So Armando wrote, "Hey, Cy," and what's funny is Evan, we met through Armando.
Yeah.
Yet in his paid chat, he makes no acknowledgement of you. It's just
He
directed
does
toward
that.
me.
He does
So
that sometimes.
that's how this rolls. Yeah, life's interesting.
When he introduced us, he was just like, "Oh yeah, this guy." It's like, no, we've known each other. We went to undergrad together.
You're right.
For 20 years.
Anyways, Armando, we love you, brother. Writing, hey, Cy made the great point. Can you imagine pressure on JK to perform in Minnesota? Oh, this is from yesterday's show he's talking about, because I brought up the fact that Kaminga was likely facing a ton of pressure in his Hawks debut.
Mm-hmm.
And then Armando adding, how can you not root for this young man, the king of
Zamunda.
Is that the coming to America?
Yeah. He's Armando's not the most accurate text speller in the world, and I love the man, but that's not his skill
It's
set.
Zamunda. It's Zamunda, right?
Zamunda from
It was close. It was close, but yeah.
from Coming to America.
Did you like Coming to America too? Or it was called just Coming to America?
Yeah. I thought it had some decent heart. Let me context it. Give some context. Dolomite Is My Name was incredible. And
agreed. Love that movie.
Coming to America, following what is a legendary movie, I definitely had really low expectations for it. So when I enjoyed it, I didn't think it was phenomenal, not like Dolomite, but I enjoyed it, and so that was enough for me to give it some love. And it's something that's it's a Netflix, like you could throw it on, enjoy it, have it on in the background if you need to, and vibe out, have a good time. So I was pleased with it. You're cracking up.
I'm this.
What are you reading?
I thought this was a solid show. This was fantastic. Evan, you were fantastic. One more time before, as we wrap it up here, promote away. What do you have going on? People can follow you on Threads at Evanistics. It's simple.
Yes.
Great handle. If you're on YouTube watching us, that's the handle right there. If you're listening on the podcast, again, at Evanistics. Anything else you want to promote as we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Look,
was that?
what are you working on right now with your script writing talents?
Well, I am on the verge of going and doing a pitching tour, which is always a fun thing.
What does that mean for
it
the
means,
layman's like me?
Yeah, so I've written, or I'm finishing up a pilot and a pitch, right? So a lot of times in television, you will you'll come up with your own idea. Sometimes you have a full pilot script, the first script written. Sometimes you don't. I'm writing the first script because part of my pitch is selling myself as a writer. I haven't yet sold a show on my own accord yet, so I got to be able to highlight that, like, hey, this is the vibe, this is how I want the dialogue to play, this is kind of how I want it to dance on the page. But I got to go pitch, so I got to set a lot of I go tell them, here's my show, here's the main idea, here's how I see it going for however many seasons, here's the main conflict, here's the characters, here's why I think people are going to fall in love with it, etc. So I'm gearing up for that, and just, you know, taking meetings for the next for the next wave of TV hires. I don't know if you saw, by the way, because we when I was on the show previously, we talked about what is now Frisco King instead of Nola King, and that's another Taylor Sheridan show that he's
you teased me saying that there was going to be a change there, but you didn't specify it, and that's fine. Who am I? But no, you teased that, and I just read that story the other day. They're now calling Nola King Frisco King based on Frisco, Texas. I feel like the South has become a massive selling point for story ideas.
For sure. I mean, it's a combination of things. I think there are a lot of places in the South where it's cheap to film, which is really hurt Los Angeles, frankly, but has helped move a lot of movies there. But also just, I mean, Taylor Sheridan's a Texas guy. He's from Texas. He identifies with it. And so I'm not surprised that he wanted to put something in a place that he's really familiar with and he could speak to. Like that's kind of his lane, is trying to find cultural Americana, middle America, and speak to that thing. You know,
I love it personally.
Yeah,
I personally love it because it represents probably what the vast majority of our country's populace, and I feel like for a very long time their voice was not heard when it came to media and culture. I know there were some exceptions, obviously, but it's intriguing. And as someone who lived in Texas for 2 years and Wyoming for a year, this stuff resonates with me because that experience made me full-heartedly realize we Californians are massively out of touch in a lot of areas, ranging from something, you know, minuscule like weather to, you know, the socioeconomic issues. It's a big country with a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different communities.
That is true. Do you want to have the political podcast?
No, not today. But and I hope it wasn't political saying that.
No. I just yes. There's a conversation about what is most popular because the population does live in the cities and on the coast, but then there is the conversation about where representation is, and there is more representation per person in the middle of the country, and that is also a vast market that is not worth ignoring, especially as Hollywood. So that's kind of the tip of the iceberg of that conversation.
Well, and as an Armando writes, Oakland, Hotlanta, new metro area, you see this with the 49ers, where like everywhere the Niners go as a road team, you have this massive contingency of fans in the stands that sometimes drown out the home crowd. And this is not a spectacle that used to exist. And even though I haven't read anything that substantiates this belief, I think a huge part of it is the amount of Californians who have been displaced because they can't afford to buy a home where they're from. And so you have all these Californians dispersed to all these other population centers, and which is also why you see people in places like Arizona and Colorado saying, we don't want you, take your California values and shove it, is because the rich keep coming here and they've driven up housing prices so much that if you're a kid from here and you want to have the American dream yourself, like owning a house, starting a family, it's damn near impossible to do it in the place where you're from. And this is a revelation that has really taken over the last 20 years or so. So you've seen this great migration pattern of Californians going to all these other places, but at the same time, it makes shows like what Taylor Sheridan, maybe what you're pitching. I don't know if you're allowed to discuss the premise of your show, but it makes focusing on all these other regions of the country, I think, a lot more relevant. Because you're getting more people getting a taste of these different cultures, and a lot of people who now have to live in these other cultures, whether or not they want to. And so you're getting this just broader perspective. I like it. I don't know. It could just be totally just me, but
I mean, I mean, look, the show that I'm going to pitch is going to take place in LA, so it's not that. But I think the goal of what you're writing is you always need to write something that has some universal connection. You know, if you know, there's times to write really niche things, and I'm not pushing back on that. But you know, your story, humans are humans. I do wholeheartedly believe that, and we do have similarities in our struggles. We have similarities in the things that we love. We have similarities in aspiration. And if you're gonna tell a story, your goal is to simultaneously tell a unique thing about whatever place you are, whether it's Texas or it's Oakland or it's New Orleans or it's Saskatchewan. I don't care where it is. You want to have people discover something interesting about that local setting, but you also want to have universal storytelling that anybody who's watching can emotionally connect to. So to me, that's kind of the balance you're trying to work with.
Which is why, as KKS writes, nobody complains that we're not getting enough TV shows about the Amish, because that's extreme. But
you know what? I think there's a world for a really Amish deep dive, like all these. There's a lot of Succession like shows where it's like, hey, who's the patriarch or matriarch, and who's going to take over control of this, and what's all that. Like, if you do a story like that in an Amish world, I bet people would watch it. I 100% bet people would watch it. In fact, let me go write this.
Well, I was going to say, like, Witness, the Harrison Ford movie, was fantastic. I think, look, this is late 80s. I mean, so who gives a shit? But I thought it got robbed of the Oscar, and a huge focus of that show was Amish country. So, and isn't there like some reality TV show based on the Amish? So maybe even that's appealing. I don't know. But can you talk anything about your show outside of where it's based geographically, which is Los Angeles, or do you have to keep that under wraps?
Let's see. The minimum or maximum, I should say, is vaguely involving journalism and in LA. That's where I'm going to leave it.
I love it. Yeah, you already got me hooked, man.
And we'll see. It's the thing that's interesting about this business is, I could pitch it to 100 people and never sell it. I could pitch it to people and sell it on the first time and have it be out in 6 months. I could pitch it to somebody, sell it on the first time, and have it be out in 10 years. Like, that's just what's so frustrating and is the weird kind of like grind of this business,
And folks, Evan Ball, one more time right there. There might be a point in time in the near future where this man right here is like a billionaire showrunner, because he just launched a program that explodes in the cultural stratosphere. Good luck, brother. I'm rooting for you, clearly.
Thank you.
If you do hit it big, like Taylor Sheridan style, don't forget about us little people. You always have a door open for you to talk Warriors and hoops in general.
Appreciate it.
But good luck, man. And thanks for coming on, dude. I thought this was a great show. As we wrap it up.
Thanks for having me. I love being on. I love being on this show. I'm probably going to do another episode of Sprewell Was Right later this week, following some Kaminga Hawks action. Always excited to see the Warriors get a win, but I want the Warriors to be successful in the long term. I'm not excited about small fry stuff that doesn't lead to something that's substantial.
Exactly. 1,000% with you on that. Absolutely right, dude. We just want to be excited about something. There's nothing to get excited for, really. Like, I guess Will Richard, he excites me a little bit.
Will Richard was good. Will Richard had a great night. I was really excited for him tonight.
But looking forward to hopefully Stephen Curry, recovering from runner's knee. That's not exactly moving the needle here, and yet that's where we're at. So let's just hope it gets better. All right, man. Well, we'll thank you. Thanks to everybody, and we'll be back at the absolute latest Friday with Happy Hour with Professor Armando Laura. Until then, subscribe to Sprewell Was Right. Follow Evan Ball on Threads at Evanistics. And thanks for joining the program. We'll be back soon. We good? We done?
We're good. Appreciate it, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.